Leading it off, the designated hitter wears number 8 for the Scarlet Knights. Following that will be Schieckhofer playing right field. For Rutgers, batting third, Chris Brito will be playing third base. Batting fourth is Ryan Lasko. He'll start at center field. Danny DiGiorgio will start at shortstop. Batting sixth, Evan Slight will be in left field for the Scarlet Knights. Jordan Sweeney will bat seventh at first base. Batting eighth is Grant Schulman at second base. And batting ninth for Rutgers is Peter Ceruto. And on the mound, as their Friday starter, is Harry Rutkowski. He is 2-2 on the season. And like you said, Jared, it's going to be a strong day for Steve Hazard, who's 2-0 this season. And Rutgers could maybe look to pin the first loss of Steve Hazard's career on him as he comes in at a career 3-0. And we should have a good one here, as it looks like Neister is going to lead it off and hand it back to you for the first pitch of the ballgame.
Neister, the right-handed hitter, steps into the box to get us underway. Stephen Hazard, the southpaw, on the mound for Michigan at the belt. And ready for the first pitch. Into the windup and deals. Skips in low, a ball and no strikes. Neister batting .323 on the year for Rutgers. No home runs and 4 RBIs across 62 at-bats. Hazard ready and deals the 1-0. Taken at the knees, a fastball for a strike, 1-1.
Out of 21 games on the season, we've seen Neister, but 16 starts, so he's come into his own, and now he's batting in the lead-off spot for the Scarlet Knights.
And that breaking ball skips into the plate, lands well in front of home plate, and trickles to the Michigan dugout where Eric Bakich comes out to scoop it up.
We've seen 3 pitches so far from Hazard, and from what the scouting report must have been on Neister, it seems to be pitching him low. 2 breaking balls have now skipped into the dirt from Hazard, and the 1 fastball that he's thrown was low and away for strike 1, and that brings up the 2-1 count for Neister.
And Hazard had problems with base on balls in his last start. He walked 6 Friday at Minnesota. That one's lined into right center field. That's down for a base hit. Heading over to cut it off is Flores. A hard turn for Nystrom, but he holds. And so it's a leadoff base knock for Rutgers against Stephen Hazard for Neister.
And we saw on that pitch again, it was going to be another pitch low and away that Neister just drove into right center field, and Flores came up and made a good play on it before Neister could even round the bag to head towards second. So Hazard truly trying to pound low and away in the zone early in this game, bringing up Schieckhofer, the second batter for the Scarlet Knights.
So Hazard against Minnesota was not particularly effective. He was good enough, though. 5 innings, scattered 4 hits for 2 runs, walked 6, and struck out 7. Neister's going, and the first pitch is in for a strike, but there's no throw down to second by Mazer. And so Rutgers has a man on second with nobody out for Schieckhofer.
And just quite the great jump from Neister right away. It's tough to read lefties sometimes because pickoff moves from lefties can truly be lethal. They put their knee up in the air, head towards first base, and all of a sudden they're caught in a pickle. But Neister read that one just as well as anybody in the country really could. That was a good steal by Neister.
Hazard ahead in the count, 0-1. Flashes bunt, gets it down. Hazard off the mound to get it. Lobs it to first. Burton does a great job reaching up to save that ball from heading down the right field line. But Schieckhofer's able to reach. Neister heads to third. It was bunted down the third base line. Hazard gloved it, got to it in plenty of time, and then not sure what happened. He just airmailed the throw. And Rutgers is in business first and third with nobody out.
And that's the definition of getting the yips, is what, as a center fielder for Michigan, running around to get his play call. But that's the definition of the yips as a pitcher. The yips are usually when a ground ball comes straight to the pitcher and they just get so anxious right away that they throw it right into the dirt towards the first baseman. But this one was opposite. It went down the third baseline, and Hazard just didn't throw it hard enough.
And now a dangerous hitter at the dish, Chris Brito. 9 home runs and 28 RBIs on the season, a .298 batting average. Right-hander against the lefty Hazard, and he calls for time. But so I was talking about that last start for Hazard. He was the beneficiary of an offensive bonanza. Michigan winning 21-5, so he didn't have to be the sharpest, but he's already in a hole early. First pitch, and it's a swing and a foul down the right field side, golfed out of play. So Brito looking to be aggressive here as he tries to give the Scarlet Knights the early lead. 2 batters into this game. Rutgers has the table set Men on the corners and nobody out against Stephen Hager.
Brito is an aggressive hitter with a lot of power, leads the team in RBIs at 28, 9 home runs, so he's a true power hitter at the 3 spot.
And he takes a rip and a miss at an upstairs fastball. It's 0-2. Hager blows that one by him.
84 miles an hour, not necessarily the fastest throw, but it still got by him nonetheless, a high one. That's hard for at least a power hitter to swing out of the yard. He was looking for something low, where Hager's been throwing all day so far.
The 0-2, and that is low and outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Brito lays off. So Hager got himself into this jam, giving up the leadoff base knock the other way to Neister. Neister stole second, and Schiekofer tried to bunt him to third, and he reached, with Hager committing the throwing error. Burton did well at first just to prevent the run, coming off the bag and leaping in the air to get it. Here's the 1-2, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Fans at the breaking ball in the dirt. And Steve Hager one step closer to getting out of this.
And now with the runners at the corners, we know exactly what Michigan's going to be looking for. It'll be the middle infielders looking to get that double play, a skip hop to either the second baseman or the shortstop, maybe even the hot corner at third base. But Michigan could be a big double play candidate on this next play, and that'll bring up Ryan Lasko.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Steve Hager with Ryan Lasko at the dish, a .325 hitter, 8 home runs, 19 RBI to his name on the year. Here's the first pitch, breaking ball inside, nearly hit him.
And Ryan Lasko has now won the Big Ten Freshman of the Week award for 3 different times this season. Rutgers has clinched that honor in 5 of 7 times. In all the weeks so far on the season, the other 2 have been Sweeney and Rodriguez. And Lasko has been a great freshman acquisition for the Scarlet Knights.
1-0, and he lays off that one in the dirt, 2-0.
Another low pitch from Hager. Jared, he's certainly trying to look low in the zone to try and get some skip balls.
Rutgers doing a really nice job of laying off so far. The only one who chased was Brito. The runner goes, swing and a miss, throw to third. And back in sliding is Neister. So stealing second base is Schiekofer. But Hager gets the swing and a miss he wanted. And so it's 2-1.
It's a really aggressive team, Rutgers. They've tried to get a lot of bases stolen this season, and they have. But then again, they've been thrown out quite a few times. And this time Hager was trying to get Neister sleeping at third base, and Malfetta just wasn't able to get the tag down in time. The throw was a bit high from our catcher.
2-1, just outside. Hager wanted that one. Mazer tried to frame it, and it's 3-1.
These are some of the times that you may see a pitcher work out of his windup, but Hager's still out of the stretch in this one, trying to limit the lead for Neister at third.
And a big rip and a miss by Lasko on the fastball, and Hager works his way back to 3-2.
Really can't go wrong in this situation. Of course, you don't want to put another base runner on the paths, but with the bases loaded and only 1 out in the inning, it might not be the worst thing for the Wolverines, especially with a hitter like Lasko at the dish that's had such a good season so far.
DiGiorgio looms on deck. Here comes the 3-2. Sails up and away, ball 4, and Lasko works the full count walk.
And like I said, that puts a really dangerous hitter away from the plate, and now Michigan could look at this as a positive thing. Anywhere could throw home, or we could just do a double play from second base to first. But Michigan will have to look to get this double play here with DiGiorgio heading to the plate for the Scarlet Knights.
And DiGiorgio hitting .261 on the season, a formidable threat himself. The bases are loaded for Rutgers against Stephen Hager as the Scarlet Knights try to strike first. DiGiorgio, right-handed hitter, curveball looped in, and he didn't get the call. 1-0.
Only the second pitch so far in the game for Hager that's been inside. Both inside pitches have pretty much almost hit the hands of both hitters.
Neister, the runner at third, Schiekofer at second, and Lasko on at first. A single, an error, and a walk. 1 man away here in the top of the first. And the swing and a foul down the right field side. That'll go out of play. So it's not the start that Michigan and Stephen Hazard wanted, but no damage has yet to be done as Hazard continues to fight this uphill battle to try and get himself out of this frame unscathed.
DiGiorgio, right-handed hitter, has got his gloves right at about the letters. A bit of an awkward position for his bat. We'll see at the windup for Hazard.
1-1, fastball down the middle, 1-2. And so Hazard gets ahead of DiGiorgio and is a step closer as he continues to work with his back up against the wall.
You might be able to say that Rutgers has maybe been itching for this matchup against Michigan. It's been 727 days since Michigan and Rutgers last faced off.
The 1-2 breaking ball skips in. Mazer blocks it. Halfway down the line comes Neister, but he scampers back to third. So a good block by Griffin Mazer behind home plate. And it's
1-2.
2-2. 2-2.
Yeah, there we go.
The scoreboard operator a little late on that one. Fooled us. So 2-2. The count even to DiGiorgio.
DiGiorgio has only K'd 7 times this season, has started in all 13 games that he's played in.
Here comes the 2-2 from Hazard. Fouled off down the right field side, out of play. Neister's got good speed on at third. We've already seen it in the inning. He stole second without a throw. So a fly ball of medium depth should be good enough to get the run in. Zimmerman's in left, Rogers in center, and Flores in right today for the Wolverines behind Steve Hazard. Here comes the 2-2, and it's in there. Strike three called. He dots the inside corner for the second out of the inning.
On that last pitch for Hazard, that's his that's his 51st K of the season, and that'll make his 75th career strikeout for Hazard, 25 away from 100 in his career. And the redshirt sophomore is well on his way to that feat. Rutgers has Evan Slight batting here in the 6th spot, the left fielder for the Scarlet Knights. Michigan's got 2 outs now in the inning. Bases still loaded for the Scarlet Knights, Jared.
And Slight, the left-handed hitter, has to go up against the left-handed pitcher, Hazard, who needs one more out to get out of this jam. And that one is low, 1-0. Might have crossed up Mazer, who had to go to the backhand to stop that one.
Evan Slight is a .280 hitter, formidable power, 3 home runs on the season, 15 RBIs, but he struck out 16 times, and if Hazard could strike out the side here in the first inning, it could give him that boost that he's been looking for so far with a little bit of energy. He's not gone deeper than 7 innings in his career, and this season, 6 innings and 1 out in, is his furthest. And with 2 outs here in the inning, Jared, and the bases loaded, he's thrown quite a large amount of pitches so far in the game.
And a brief conference at the mound between Mazer and Hazard after that first pitch ball. Mazer back on his knees behind the dish now as Hazard looks on for the sign. 1-0, the count to Slight. Runners at every base. Hazard has 2 strikeouts in the inning, could use a third here. Here comes the 1-0, swinging a foul. Punched it back, and it's 1-1. So when Hazard has gotten that fastball over and in the zone, he has been overpowering, which is what we've come to expect from Steve Hazard. 49 strikeouts coming into the day, now 51 on the year in 41 innings. 1-1 the count, even to Slight. Lefty on lefty, swing and a miss. Blew the fastball by him again, and it's 1-2.
Big pitch upcoming here, Jared. It's going to be really big for Hazard to get out of this inning without any damage. But on that last pitch, Mazer was looking down at third base again to try and hit up Malfetta to try and throw out Neister at third base. But at this situation with 1-2, it's time to trust your pitcher.
Hazard readies and deals the 1-2 low and away. 2-2. Nice job by Slight to hold off that one.
And there's that low and away pitch again. And now with straight 2-2-2s on the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, I guarantee we'll probably see another one here at some point. This time we might see the breaking ball from Hazard.
Hazard steps off the mound, readjusts, now gets back on. Bases are loaded. Neister at third. Shikofer at second, and Lasco on at first. Slight, the batter, looking to drive him in. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive to right field. Flores sees his back. He's on his horse. It's over his head and short hops the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Here comes Lasco. He'll come around to score standing up. It's a 3-run, 2-out double for Slight. And Rutgers gets them all home. It's 3-0 in the first.
And as Hazard almost got out of that with any scratches, bumps, or bruises, it's a 3-0 lead for Rutgers in the top of the 3rd inning.
Well, Flores in right field seemed to have misplayed that ball a bit. He took his first step in and then froze, and that ball, a scorching liner, just kept on carrying and sailed over his head off the bat of Slight. And just like that, a potential feel-good start for Hazard goes down the drain. He's buried himself in a 3-0 hole, and he's still not out of the inning. First pitch to Sweeney, a breaking ball over for a strike, 0-1. So Slight gets the big hit that Rutgers needed after Brito and DiGiorgio went down on strikes.
And Rutgers hasn't necessarily liked Ray Fisher Stadium, Jared. They're 0-6 here against Michigan. Their only wins have come in Piscataway.
Here comes the 0-1. Another looper at the bottom of the zone catches the knees, and it's 0-2. So Hazard has now gone to the breaking ball twice after getting beat by Slight for the double. Hazard looking to end what has been a poor start to the game so far. 0-2 the count. Here comes the pitch. Curveball, tap foul. Just got a piece of that one to stay alive. It's still 0-2.
On the last 2 pitches, we've seen 2 straight curveballs, and now it's time that Hazard may go upstairs with the heater to try to get Sweeney out of here and for the Wolverines to head back to the dugout to put their bats on the ball.
3-0 Rutgers before Michigan even gets a step to chance at the plate. Here comes the 0-2 from Hazard. Swing and a miss. He blows the high fastball by him for out number 3. So 3 strikeouts the inning for Steve Hazard, but also 3 runs. The big 2-out bases clearing double by Slight to right field, slicing over the head of Flores. And if you're the Scarlet Knights, this is as good a start as you could have asked for.
In the last game that Michigan played against Rutgers was an extra inning, 10 inning specifically, win here in Ann Arbor by a score of 4-1 when Joe Donovan, none other than old Joe Donovan, hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 10th off of Serafino Brito of Rutgers. And now it's time that Brito is back. However, it's a different one. So Michigan and Rutgers, of course, on a beautiful April afternoon. It was cold as though it would be
snowing.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So at least Michigan has that going for them as they'll take their first crack at it against the Scarlet Knights. And Harry Rutkowski, 2-2 on the year, has pitched to a 3.83 ERA across 44 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 40 and walked 17. Opposing hitters slicing just .212 against him. So the Wolverines have their work cut out for them going against Rutkowski and already in a 3-0 hole.
And Rutkowski's no blowover. You know, he's a Friday starter, which means he's the one that's supposed to get the series set and ready to go for the Scarlet Knights. And they send out Rutkowski, trusting him as another left-hander. We get 2 southpaws for the matchup today.
And Michigan will roll out Rogers, Molfetta, and Elliott, 1, 2, 3 in the order. Again, that glaring power absence in the middle is Jimmy Obertop, sidelined for a 4th straight game. We're not exactly sure as to what is bothering Obertop. He appeared to tweak something and was a little gimpy against Ohio State in the series finale back on the 11th, and then did not play in any of the games in Minneapolis this past weekend and is sidelined again today. So it's Rogers, Molfetta, Elliott, 1, 2, 3 in the order, followed by Mazer in the cleanup spot. Sems bats 5th, Zimmerman 6th, Flores 7th in right field, Burton playing first base, bats 8th, and then Bertram rounds things out, batting 9th.
And I was saying Rutkowski is certainly no pushover. He's 2-2 on the season, 9-16 in his career, but he's had a poor offense the past couple of seasons, and now that Rutgers has some pretty strong batters at the plate, Rutkowski's had a lot more success.
And Jordan Rogers steps in, takes the first pitch, breaking ball at the knees, 0-1. Rogers has been a regular in the outfield and atop Michigan's lineup, has started the last 12 games, led off the last 9. The 0-1 delivery from Rutkowski sails up and away, 1-1. Rogers first inserted into the lineup when Christian Bullock went down with turf toe. And Bullock has been Wally pipped, so to say, with Rogers stepping into his place. With a 1-1, he waits on it, flicks it into right field. Schiekofer eases back a few strides and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
And you may wonder on a ball like that looked like it was going into right center field, that definitely curved over towards the right fielder. Maybe that could have been something to look at last inning when Tito Flores was trying to go back for that ball, and the wind just happened to carry it above his head. If he thought he was in a good position, no, this is D1 Big Ten collegiate baseball. You'd think they'd be able to track down a ball there in the outfield, but the wind can certainly do something to the ball, and it just took the seams of the ball and over his head.
And here is Christian Molfetta. First pitch, takes it down the middle, a strike, 0-1. He has been arguably Michigan's best hitter, although he cooled off a bit in Minneapolis, 1 for 12 in the weekend series. Still a team high 31 hits. The 0-1 skips in the dirt. And it's 1-1.
Molfetta's done a really good job so far this season, Jared, at the hot corner. He's done nothing better than just make plays, and with 7 errors, it may not look like it, but with the amount of plays that they get, it's a pretty good job having an 885 fielding percentage.
And that one misses high. 2-1, so hitter's count for Molfetta as he looks to help climb Michigan out of an early 3-0 hole. Takes that one at the letters a bit high. Ball 3.
Now here's the ultimate hitter's count. Of course, it's not a pitcher's count if it's 3-1, but hey, we're in the hitter's count now. 3-1 for Molfetta.
And here comes the 3-1. Taken outside, ball 4. Molfetta, who stretches his team high in walks with his 19th on the year, takes the free pass to first, Michigan's first base runner of the afternoon, and that'll bring up Clark Elliott.
Clark Elliott on the season, batting .315, 4 home runs, and 15 RBIs. He's got a pretty strong mix of strikeouts and based on balls with 18 Ks, and he's walked 16 times. And then he's been hit by the pitch 2 different times. So he's 18-18, getting those walks and strikeouts.
Molfetta on at first with a short lead, and that pitch sails high. That's the 3rd time that Rutkowski has missed high in the zone. Way high in the zone. And so it's 1-0 to Elliott, the lefty-on-lefty matchup.
So far, his ball-strike ratio hasn't been great. 7 balls now to 3 strikes.
And he misses low this time, and it's 2-0.
Clark Elliott standing in the box on the left side, left-handed hitter. A good, solid .315 average. Doesn't look like he has the size of a 3-spot hitter, but if you're consistent,
that's slash to second. The backhand flips to short for 1, on to first. A double play. 4-6-3. So a smash off the bat of Elliott, but nothing to show for it except 2 outs. And that'll end the bottom of the first and bring us to the second. 1 walk, none left. No runs across. Rutgers up 3-0 after 1.
So Michigan just simply ended up not being patient in the box after Rutkowski ended up throwing a lot of balls this past inning. And they'll have to bring up Hager now in the top of the second inning with Rutgers leading at 3-0 on only 2 hits. But Michigan in a hole after the first will head into the second with hopefully a bit more optimism from the Maize and Blue.
Rutgers will have 8-9-1 up in the batting order against Hager, who will look for a more tranquil second inning of work after struggling in that first inning. Gave up that big 2-out, 3-run double to Slight.
Michigan did get out of that first inning with 1 error, and that was the error on Hager. Now you think back to that play. What happens if he throws that guy out at first base? The damage isn't really done. Michigan gets out of that with no runs if he does end up striking out those 2 there at the end of the inning. But instead, Rutgers takes a 3-piece into the next inning, and we're at the top of the second now with Hager being warmed up. And it'll be Shulman, Ceruto, and Neister to lead off the inning for the Scarlet Knights.
And you compound that Hager error with Flores misjudging the velocity and distance of that ball struck by Slight in right field. Let it sail over his head after taking a first step in that doomed him. And here we are an inning later, Rutgers with a 3-0 lead.
The second baseman, Shulman, wears number 25 in the cherry red scarlet uniforms for the Scarlet Knights today at the gray pants, black helmets, and Michigan's Steve Hazard in the windup with his glove set at the letters. First pitch of the inning is a strike down and away from Hazard on the fastball.
First pitch strike, imperative for Hazard, as it is with any pitcher, especially Hazard struggling with the walks a bit this year.
The second is a changeup straight above the zone, and Shulman lays off on it. It's a pitch that a lot of different hitters like. They like to see a changeup maybe caught off guard that's left up in the zone, and they take it to right field, especially for a left-handed hitter. Third pitch of the inning is a strike on a curveball. Hazard has got him in a position that he wants him now at a 1-2 count.
Hazard's been unleashing the curveball. It's a pitch he really worked on over the offseason.
The 1-2 is fouled off down the left field line over the hangar here at Ray Fisher Stadium. The 3:18 mark in left field. Not even close to reaching that on that last swing in by Shulman, but Shulman on the season with no home run, so he's trying to look to get over any of the walls down there in the outfield. The 1-2 from Hazard. Swing and a miss, and he got him on strikes. The first out of the inning is an easy one for Hazard.
Well, Hazard, 4 outs in this ball game, all 4 via the strikeout, 3 swinging and then 1 looking. And he has continued to flash that upstairs elevated fastball that the Rutgers hitters just haven't been able to catch up to this point.
And that'll bring up Peter Ceruto, another guy with no homers on the season, bats in the 9th spot as he fouls one off, 0-1. Another guy with no homers. And in this inning, the upcoming batters combined this season for no homers.
Ceruto did Hazard a favor there, swinging at a pitch low for strike 1.
The 0-1 pitch out of the windup for Hazard. That one's in the dirt, skips in front of the plate, and it's eaten up by Mazer. 1-1.
Mazer's already had his fair share of action behind the plate. Hazard skipping a decent number of pitches in.
Ceruto stands close to the box, surrounding the plate. Here's the 1-1 from Hazard. A swing and a drive left field, going back to the track and making the catch is Michigan's Danny Zimmerman. 2 outs now in the inning for the Wolverines, and Steve Hazard.
Yes, Zimmerman got twisted around a little bit on that ball to left. Not sure if the sun is of any impact. It's piercing through the clouds a tad and shining on the field, but he turned around and had enough time to recover and make that grab for out number 2. First non-strikeout.
The curveball from Hazard on the 0-0 to Neister, who's the leadoff hitter for the Scarlet Knights, is away, and a 1-0 count brings up the leadoff hitter, who lined one into right center field to begin the game off of Hazard.
Neister, the catalyst in that 3-run opening frame for the Scarlet Knights.
Here's another one lifted to right field. Flores going over down the right field line, and it lands in the Rutgers bullpen. Not able to grab it. It's 1-1. Hazard gets him to foul it off down the first base line.
That one slicing, I think the wind took it a bit, and Flores never had a chance over near that sidewall. There's not a lot of foul territory here down the right field line at Ray Fisher. That bullpen jets out a bit. Can't be more than 10 feet or so, and that one cleared the sidewall easily.
That's a big thing in baseball now. If the first baseman sees that the ball is coming close to the wall, he's got to communicate with that right fielder to allow him to know how close he is, because the last thing we want to do is incur an injury going down the right field line. Is squaring to bunt is Neister, and that one's well in front of the plate again. Hazard's been bouncing quite a few towards Mazer so far, and like you said, he's got his work cut out for him.
That one bounced a good 5 feet before the plate. See if Hazard can maybe make a mechanical adjustment.
And a lot of the time when it bounces so far in front of the plate like that, it's that he's holding his breaking ball too hard. His grip is just the best way to say it is that he's just holding it too hard, really.
Mm-hmm.
He's squeezing onto the ball, and there's another one that's low. That was a strike. It's 2-2 as he checked down to the third base line to make sure that he called strike. 2-2. But another one that was low.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-2 is inside on Neister, who was surrounding the plate. Put the bat up around his shoulders, and it was 2 inside.
Hazer was a few steps toward the Michigan dugout, wanted that one, thought perhaps it clipped the inside part of the plate. Now it's 3-2. He'll have to make a good pitch here to retire the feisty Neister.
Here's a 3-2 pitch to Neister from Hazer. A swing down the left field line towards Malfetta into the Michigan dugout, and we'll have to redo the 3-2 pitch.
See what Hazer goes to here on the second 3-2 go-around. Maybe breaks out the curveball. It's been or the high fastball, perhaps two of his best put-away pitches. See what he uses to try and retire Neister.
The 3-2 from Hazer. There's a curveball. He got him, strike 3, as he has to head back to the dugout. Neister maybe tried to get away with it as he ran down the first base line just a bit, but Hazer retires aside this time with the K looking, and his career high of Ks is 11. So far he's got 5 through 2 innings. Now it's just a matter of how deep does he go into the ballgame. Like I said earlier, he's only been 6 innings and 1 out through a ballgame this season, and his career high is 7.
Yeah, perfect inning for Stephen Hazer. Couldn't ask for a better second inning of work after the way that first inning went, allowing those 3 runs to put Michigan in a 3-0 hole. But beautiful execution on that curveball to buckle Neister's knees. And I was reading up a bit about Hazer in a piece in Baseball America. And Hazer worked on that curveball in the offseason. He did so with Chris Fetter, who is obviously now with the Detroit Tigers, and also at Kinetic Pro Performance in Tampa Bay, Florida, really trying to sharpen that pitch with the intention of using it late in counts as a put-away pitch, which is exactly what he just did to Fan Neister, and I'm sure Hazer is happy with it, the way he has pitched this season, and the 5 strikeouts that he's racked up already today.
And this is an interesting season. Of course, they're usually used to playing weekday games where there isn't necessarily a quote-unquote Friday starter. They're used to playing games, almost every day in and out, or across the Big Ten in their non-conference games when they go down to the South. But his last start against Minnesota, when we won 21-5 against the Golden Gophers, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 base on balls, and 7 Ks. So he's almost surpassed that K amount. But like I said, only 5 innings pitched, so we'll have to see how deep he goes into the game. Rutkowski back to work for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Mazer at the plate. He takes one looking, strike 1.
See if Michigan can get the offense going here after a first inning that ended with the damper with the double play.
The second pitch from Rutkowski is shot into right field, and it's scooped up. And Mazer's on base, the first hit of the ball game for the Wolverines. Mazer, the 262s, man, 662 would be incredible. He'd probably be up for Player of the Year award. 262 pushes it into right field, and Michigan's on base for the second time in the ball game. Michigan's got a runner on.
Great piece of hitting by Mazer, hitting it where it's pitched, just poking it through that hole into right field, and a step closer to 662 he is, and Benjamin Sems, Michigan's best hitter, average-wise at 345. Is now at the dish.
Sem squared for the bunt on that last one. Nothing going for him. He took it low. It's a 1-0 count for Sems as Rutkowski works out of the stretch. Rutkowski wears the short sleeve next to his wrist, like a wristband in football, like a quarterback would wear to get some calls from the dugout, as he misses this one high and away. 2-0. Left-hander doesn't necessarily have blistering heat on his fastball, but he knows how to place it. He's had quite a few starts this season, pitching around 44 innings so far, and that's a 3-0 count now, as Sems can take his time and really see the ball for Rutkowski, as he's got to bring it to him now.
Sems has been everything that Eric Bakich and Michigan could have hoped for since transferring from Kansas.
345 on the season, 2 homers. So he takes this one right down the pipe. It's a 3-1 hitter's count for Sems.
Taking all the way on that one. Likely should get another pitch to hit here.
Mazer still sitting potent at first base. Rutkowski stares him down. Now throws towards the plate, ball 4, as Sems will take a nice little scamper down to first base, moving up the runner. Mazer to second. And Michigan's got 2 men on with no outs, threatening here in the bottom of the second inning, bringing up left fielder Danny Zimmerman.
The Wolverines are in business, and Zimmerman, 4 home runs on the year. One swing could tie the ball game up on here, but after Zimmerman, they've got Flores and Burton, all capable hitters. And that's just a thing with the Michigan lineup that ranks second in the Big Ten in runs scored, just 1 behind Nebraska. Up and down, 1 through 9, they have guys who can hit, can get it done. And so even though they're in the bottom half of the lineup, they're productive hitters.
Here's the pitch from Murkowski. It's inside and low, bringing up a 1-0 count for Zimmerman. Zimmerman 273 on the season. Like Jared said, 4 homers, 11 RBIs. He struck out 13 times. Only 33 at-bats on the season, though. A bit low compared to the rest of the starting crew because he's played in 16 but started 7 now for the Wolverines. Zimmerman takes one right down the middle. Looked like a breaking ball from Rutkowski. A 1-1 count.
Zimmerman looked like he wanted to offer at that, but then hung his bat back.
The left fielder from the Wolverines, a redshirt junior, stands in the right-handed batter's box. Takes another fastball for a strike this time. He thought it was away. Turns back at the home plate umpire, saying he thought it was away, but nonetheless, it's not up to the batter what a ball and a strike is, so it's a 1-2 count. Rutkowski can work on Zimmerman.
Zimmerman drove in 7 runs in Minneapolis.
He takes this one away. That was another breaking ball from Rutkowski.
Got a chance for a few more here. 2 ducks on the pond. 7 runs driven in on just 3 hits for Zimmerman in that series.
It's been kind of awkward watching the breaking ball so far today. They've either been really far in front of the plate or outside. And then the other ones have just been right down the middle. So no really in-betweens.
And there's the up and away.
Yeah, there's the up and away. It's a full count now for Zimmerman. And Michigan could get some runs back here, trailing 3-0 in the bottom of the second inning with Tito Flores on deck for the Wolverines.
And if you're Rutkowski, you got to go after Zimmerman here. Flores, a dangerous hitter in his own right, on deck, and nobody out.
He tries to get the pickoff move towards second base just to keep Mazer honest back there, and what a job that would be for Tito Flores to end up having. The ball went over his head in right field. The ball he simply just misjudged, and Rutgers gained 3 runs off of it, and he could get them all right back. He could even get a 4th if he decides to put one over. Here's Rutkowski's full count pitch. It's a swing and a blooper in the right center field, and it's ended up being caught by the center fielder. Out there is number...
Yeah, I thought that ball was hit better than it was, but it kind of tailed off, and Lasko did a nice job coming in on it and calling off Schiekofer to make that grab. Mazer was a little far off the bag. Lasko tried to throw behind him, but to no avail. So let's see. The baton now is passed to Flores after Zimmerman fails to get the job done.
It's the only one out in the inning, though. Tito Flores in a scrunched up position in the right-handed batter's box. Kind of crowds the play. That's why that one was called for a strike.
That's a great pitch by Rutkowski, clipping the inside corner. There's not much Flores can do on that one. As you said, he is right on top of the plate.
For a left-handed pitcher throwing to a righty who's right on top of the plate, it's really easy to throw across your body and just get a strike on the inside, as now Flores goes down 0-2 with a foul to the backstop.
And the momentum perhaps starting to swing back in favor of Rutgers and Rutkowski after getting the first out, and now ahead of Flores, 0-2. Perhaps Rutkowski can see a way out of this inning, but as we learned with Hager giving up that big 2-out hit, got to go until all 3 outs are recorded.
From Murkowski, a good, patient swing and foul from Flores down the right field line, and he really had to sit on that breaking ball there. If he would have thrown the fastball, it looked like Flores might have been a bit behind it, but instead, the breaking ball comes into the zone and Flores knocks it away. It's still 0-2 with 1 out. Rutgers leading it 3-0 in the bottom of the second inning.
He was right on that breaking ball.
The 0-2. Swing and a foul again. This one's back to the left field line stop behind the feet of Flores, and 0-2 again coming from Rutkowski on this next pitch.
Less so on that breaking ball, but nonetheless manages to stay alive.
Rutkowski again looking at that wristband, gets the call from the dugout, now set for the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Flores again fighting it off. This time hit his right foot as he waited again on the breaking ball.
Right. We're in the game. It's a chess match now between these two, with Rutkowski going for 3 straight off-speed pitches. At what point does he try for the fastball, and at what point does Flores start sitting breaking ball, perhaps?
Flores, 261 hitter on the season, waits on the 0-2. Here it is, a good line shot into center field, and that may score Mazer. Mazer on third base. Lasko going to throw to the plate, and it's away from the catcher, and going to third base now is going to be Sems, and a big pickup by Tito Flores makes the score 3-1 as the Wolverines get their first run of the ballgame.
Well, great plays all around on Michigan's end. Flores working out of the 0-2 hole, shoots it just past a diving DiGiorgio at short. Aggressive base running by Mazer coming in to score. Then the ill-fated throw in on the relay sent the catcher Ceruto far up the first base line, and then real heads-up base running by Sems taking that extra base hit. He winds up going first to third. Wolverines on the scoreboard down 3-1 and threatening for more.
With runners on the corner now, it brings up number 3 Ted Burton, who bats out of the right-handed batter's box. 283 on the season, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, looking to add to that tally on this at-bat. Rutkowski tries to pick off towards Flores, who will threaten to steal a base for the Wolverines.
Sems was dashing down the line a little bit as well at third.
Rutkowski still hasn't picked up a K in this game. His career high in Ks is 12. That was on April 19th in 2019 against Purdue, as Burton pushes one above the backstop on the right field line. Oh, 1 count on Ted Burton, the first baseman for the Wolverines. The pitch from Rutkowski is inside. That'll even it up at 1-1.
Burton drove in 8 runs in Minneapolis, 8 of his 10 RBI on the season.
His last homer was last weekend, 4-17 against Minnesota. Here's a shot into right field. Tagging will be Sems. Here's the catch. The throw in from right field is not going to be even close, and Michigan will score their second run of the inning, making the score now 3-2.
Nice job by Burton, getting that fly ball deep enough to get the speedy Sems in from third. Schiekofer, as he caught that one, had no intention of trying to create a play at the plate. Arm simply not strong enough from that distance, and Sems has too many wheels. So Michigan got 2 runs in the inning now with 2 gone, and 1 run away from erasing that early 3-0 hole entirely.
And a great sacrifice fly there from Burton. Did his job. That's exactly what they asked him to do. Flores is messing around over there at first base with pitcher Rutkowski, and that's something that would bug a left-handed hitter. A lot of movement off of the peripheral vision from the hitter, from the pitcher Rutkowski, and now Bertram could have a big job to do. A shot to any gap would pretty much score Flores with the speed down there at first base.
And he's just being a nuisance over there at first, as Rutkowski with the throw over.
2 straight pickoff moves now from Rutkowski. The second baseman, Bertram, in the box. Again, another right-handed hitter for the Maize and Blue. Rutkowski this time has it towards home plate. That's strike 1, low and inside on the fastball. Both pitchers aren't necessarily going to blow you away with the fastball. That last pitch ringed in at only 85 miles per hour for the Scarlet Knight pitcher, the southpaw Harry Rutkowski. Here's a second. Again, low and inside. This time he got him with the breaking ball, not the position that Michigan's Riley Bertram necessarily wants to be into. He's sitting there at 0-2.
It seems as if the stadium radar gun that they use on the scoreboard might have stopped working. Because unless
it also says Neister's pitching, so and there is strike 3 looking for Riley Bertram, as Michigan will have to head back to the dugout and send their fielding unit back out there in Steve Hazard. But yes, I do think, Jared, that it may be broken.
Unless every pitcher is just throwing 84.87 miles per hour on every single pitch, I'm going to say it's broken because we said Hazard threw a fastball and it clocked in at that 84.87, or so we thought it clocked in, but he generally sits a little higher with the fastball, lower 90s, very high 80s.
It's easy from up here to just go up and look at the miles per hour and just say
it's
it
right
without
in our
really
view,
thinking about it. There you go.
But so we have figured out that mystery, and Hazard is back out readying for his third inning of work. First inning, not so good. Surrendered 3 runs with the big 2-out bases clearing double that put Rutgers on top. Second inning, totally different story. Very good. 1, 2, 3. A crisp, clean inning of work. And now Michigan's ace goes back to the mound for inning number 3, with the Wolverines having almost climbed him out of the hole, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the second. So it's a 3-2 game through 2. The visiting Scarlet Knights up top. Friday afternoon baseball is great, especially at here at Ray Fisher Stadium, because first of all, the sun is out. It's no longer snowing like it was the past few days. Second of all, Michigan softball is also playing, I believe, at 6. And so
we have a beautiful view of the game if the opening pitch is...
Exactly. From our vantage point, we're a little off up the third base line, and we are just looking right into Alumni Field. And I love the way the 2 fields are constructed back-to-back so the outfields are right up against one another.
Now, I think, Jared, if you stepped into that right-handed batter's box and got a pitch from Rutkowski, that you could sky that ball right onto the dirt on the softball field.
Well, I don't know if you've seen me play baseball, but I appreciate it. Maybe I could chop one up the third base line. So Steve Hazard begins his third inning of work by skipping one in, as has become a theme for both these pitchers so far, the skipping in the pitches into the plate. So it's 1-0.
And again, it was that breaking ball, too. The curveball just hasn't been able to get over the plate, but when it has, it's been beautifully placed.
And that one is skied. A pop-up seems to be out of play, and it's 1-1.
Now, have you seen that play the other day from that Texas Tech broadcaster that caught the ball in the booth?
That could be us.
Hopefully not, though, because we have glass in front of us. So that would be the least thing that we'd want.
Stuck out his bare hand. It was one of the most unbelievable things I've seen. The 1-1 clips the outside corner 1-2, and he didn't even flinch. And it was funny afterwards. He was talking about it. He's like, "I can't feel my hand. Like, it hurts so much." I'm like, what was he expecting? Like, that thing was a rocket.
It was either let it hit his hand, let it head into the booth, or let it hit his head. And I think the hand may have been one of the best options.
I guess so. 1-2 skied to center, left center. Rogers and Zimmerman converging. Zimmerman makes the call and makes the catch for the first out. So 5 straight retired for Steve Hazard as he starts to settle into a bit of a groove.
That'll bring up Chris Brito.
Brito, a strikeout victim back in the first. One of 5 strikeout victims on the day for Hazard. Hazard and Mazur communicating into the windup and deal. Swing and a miss. Goes after the fastball, 0-1. Big hack by Brito, who has 9 home runs on the season.
One of the most interesting things about this team, Jared, is that every single player retained their eligibility from last year. That's why you see the RS next to everybody's name. Everyone's a red shirt except for the incoming freshmen, and their freshman class is really, really talented. And it's one of the most interesting things that I've seen, that everybody retained their eligibility.
Here's the 0-1, foul down the right field side. It certainly presents a quandary and obviously this is happening across all college athletics, because yes, it's a great thing that you get all these players back if they want to, but it does create roster dilemmas because you have overflowing rosters with 5 years worth of players as the 0-2 sails up and away 1-2. So it does present predicaments to be ironed out down the line.
This season, their freshman class is really talented. Of course, you have Lasco, who's won 3 out of 5 Freshman of the Weeks.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball sits high, 2-2.
Then you have Sweeney and Rodriguez, who are both true freshmen as well. So a really good class for Steve Owens in his second season. He's got a record of 18-21 at Rutgers, but all time I guess you could say he's pretty close to 1,000 all-time wins. He's at 932. So he's got a big fraction cut out of that.
And Brito goes down on strikes. The 2-2 clips the inside corner to catch him looking. And so 2 up, 2 down to begin the third for Steve Hager.
That'll bring up the dangerous 4-hitter, Ryan Lasko, that freshman that we just talked about.
And Lasko worked a walk and came around to score on the bases clearing double by Evan Slight back in the first. Hager ahead 0-1.
It's a big cut right there from Lasko, who has 8 homers on the season, a freshman batting in the cleanup spot.
Lasko and Brito in the middle. No shortage of power there. Chops that one toward the middle of the diamond. Sems makes a nice play on the move. Throws across the diamond for the third out of the inning. 1-2-3 for Steve Hager in the third. He's now retired 7 straight. Michigan coming up to bat, down 3-2.
That was a really good play by Sems, because a lot of time that you'll see that shortstop heading towards glove side at the second base mark do a spin move, do a total 360 and try to throw it off of his back foot towards first base. And that's when a lot of errors happen, at least on the throwing part. This time he got himself situated with the glove hand, made a good first step, and a good solid throw over towards first base, and retired the side for the Wolverines.
And after that rocky start to his afternoon, Steve Hager really starting to settle in, looking like the Steve Hager that we all know. 7 straight set down, 6 strikeouts so far. Just that bumpy start, but he has certainly appeared to have righted the ship.
This inning for the Wolverines will start with Jordan Rogers, Christian Malfetta, and Clark Elliott, the 1-2-3 hitters for Michigan. A lot of the damage obviously came in the last inning for the Wolverines, trailing at 3-2 now, but they put up both runs there in the second inning, and Harry Rutkowski, wears number 41 for Rutgers, will head back out, and the left-hander will do some work for the Scarlet Knights.
And for the Wolverines, let's see if they can capitalize upon a momentum swing. Hager's righted the ship, as we have mentioned, on the mound. And on the plate, Michigan knocked in 2 runs in the bottom of the second, so perhaps swinging the game back in their favor. Down 3-2 as we begin the bottom of the third, and Jordan Rogers steps into the dish. Rogers flew out to right back in the first. Leading off for Michigan, takes it up and away. 1-0 from Rutkowski. Rutkowski's missed high aplenty so far this afternoon. Here comes the 1-0 to Rogers, swinging a fly ball into right center field, slicing over in the gap, easing back, and having a play on it is Shekoffer. So 2 flyouts to right on the afternoon for Jordan Rogers. And that'll bring up Malfetta with 1 out and nobody on in the third.
And Rogers has done a good job of pushing the outside pitches into right field. Both times they'll go down as flyouts, Jared, but they weren't necessarily flyouts here. You could pretty much call them lineouts into right field, and that one was right in the right center field gap. What would you say, about 370 feet back there, about 20 feet short of a home run?
Certainly carried, and a check swing foul by Malfetta, who wanted to hold off, and the ball found his bat. 0-1. Malfetta walked, only to be erased on a 4-6-3 double play off the bat of Elliott in the bottom half of the first. Here comes the 0-1, swinging a chopper foul up the third base line. And so Malfetta in an 0-2 hole. This is an important inning as well for Rutkowski, as he looks to do what Hager did and put up a 0 an inning after allowing some runs. It's 3-2 Rutgers here in the bottom of the third from sunny Ray Fisher Stadium. Rutkowski into the windup and deals. The 0-2 is in there for a call, third strike. 1-2-3, down goes Malfetta. And 2 up, 2 down for Rutkowski in the third as Clark Elliott strides to the dish.
Malfetta's someone who doesn't necessarily strike out a ton. That's his 12th strikeout of the season, but he's taken 18 walks. A really good ratio when you look at it. 12 Ks, 18 walks, I'll take that.
Malfetta slumping a little bit, 1 for 12 in Minneapolis as Elliott flashes bunt and pulls back only to take a first pitch strike. And then the walk and the strikeout for Malfetta today. So he in a bit of a rut, trying to get back on track. Elliott, meanwhile, up to 3-11 on the season, and that breaking ball skips in. Ceruto couldn't backhand it. Doesn't matter. No one's on base for Elliott. It's 1-1.
Clark Elliott, the sophomore for the Wolverines, leads the team currently in on-base streak. Not hits, but on-base streak, including walks, hit by pitch, and intentionals. With 14 straight ball games, he's at least reached first base.
Looking to extend that to 15 here and give Michigan a 2-out base runner. The 1-1 tried to hold his swing on the breaking ball, and he did. It's 2-1.
Michigan's been checking their swings quite a bit. You can tell that Rutkowski's been keeping them off balance quite a bit here in the ball game with those check swings.
2-1, and he lays off that time on the breaking ball low. 3-1. Hitters count for Elliott. Playing in right field today.
And there you go. Here's that 14-game on-base streak on the line again.
1 ball away. Bottom of the third, Rutgers up 3-2. Michigan looking for a 2-out base runner. Comes to 3-1, slashed foul on the left field side into the parking lot.
And that might have been his pass down there to first base as he swung at that ball that was high and inside. Probably could have left that one up there, and he would have been taking his sweet time getting down there to the bag at first base.
Well, big news. It seems as the number has changed on the radar gun as here comes the 3-2. Slash just short. DiGiorgio's got it. Gloves. Fires got him. So 1, 2, 3 go the Wolverines, set down in order by Rutkowski in the bottom of the third. At the end of 3 at right, Fisher. Rutgers with the 3-2 advantage.
Now Michigan and Rutgers has not had that much history. They actually went, I believe, 91 straight years without playing after their first meeting in, I believe it was 1919. I didn't take a note of it, but I saw it online in the preview for the game for Michigan and Rutgers, and I believe it was 91 straight years, all the way until the late 2000s, the last time that Michigan and Rutgers had a big spread like that.
Well, now, of course, playing regularly since Rutgers' admission into the Big Ten Conference a few years back. Rutgers 12-12 on the season, 7-5 away, 4-6 at home back in Piscataway, and then 1-1 at neutral sites.
Clear improvement for Rutgers. Big time improvement. RU is 7-5 on the road, like Jared just said, in a Big Ten only schedule this season, of course, with the pandemic still plaguing a lot of college baseball. Previously in that category, their high, take a guess, Jared, what was their high in road wins in a season in the Big Ten?
I'm going to go with 5.
Their previous high was 3. Ooh, they're 7-5 on the road this year. Their high this season, in the past, their high was 3. And they are 11-47 before that this season in the road game category. So clear improvement for Owens and the Scarlet Knights.
Certainly a program that seems to be heading in the right direction with that 12-12 record. And speaking of heading in the right direction, Steve Hazard has set down the last 7 Scarlet Knights he's faced. As DiGiorgio steps into the box, Hazard hoping to make him number 8.
DiGiorgio again holding that bat. His hands are right around where the front side number is as he tries to bunt this one away. It's foul. It goes right through the 5 hole of Mazur.
I'm trying to think who his stance reminds me of. And as he gets back into it again, I think the best...
You got to use your baseball encyclopedia here, man.
I think the best comparison I have, it's a right-handed version of Anthony Rizzo.
Okay. Yeah, Rizzo's got that. He's got that tilt in his bat too. As here's a chopper towards Malfetta, he'll let it go foul.
Right, because he's holding the bat like very close. He's not as crouched, but the bat's like right up against his chest, and the hands are right there as well. So that's sort of.
And he's holding it straight to the air.
Right.
And the knob is pointed right at the plate, and the top of the bat and the barrel is sky high towards the sun.
So
Speaking of the sun, man,
it's come out. Shining down.
You couldn't ask for a better view from the stadium as well. Ray Fisher, you can see Chrysler Center, the softball field, the big house is in the right field. As here's the 0-2 from Hazard. Here's a swing and a line drive that'll sky into the Michigan bullpen.
Well, we talked about the curveball. That was a hanger. And DiGiorgio, his eyes got wide, got in front of it. But the big news, as I was saying earlier, The radar gun is fixed. That one came in at 76 miles per hour, left the pat with a scorching exit velocity of 110 miles per hour.
The 0-2 again from Hazard to DiGiorgio. Another sky-high ball in the deep left field going back to the track and the wall, and that ball's gone. DiGiorgio with his 5th home run of the season makes the score 4-1. And clearly we can tell where the sun's beaming down now. It's a bit hard to see from here where the sun is at, but it's clearly pointing into left field.
A blast, and Zimmerman eased back a few strides and knew it was gone, and so he stopped, and then he realized where he was playing, and there's that huge brick structure, Fenway Park Green Monster-esque in left field, and he turned around and realized, there's a chance this one thing doesn't clear, but it did, into the parking lot, and just a bomb off the bat of DiGiorgio.
Here's a breaking ball, first pitch to a strike to Evan Slight.
And let's see how Hazard responds after giving up that one. Certainly ended the momentum that he accumulated by retiring 7 straight.
Another breaking ball, and he gets Slight to swing straight through it, an 0-2 count to begin the at-bat. For number 27, Evan Slight, the left fielder for Rutgers.
And Slight has the big hit in this ball game, the 3-run, 2-out double that put Rutgers up 3-zip in the first.
Here's a swing and a foul over our heads. It'll remain 0-2 against Slight.
Back to DiGiorgio's home run. I feel like you don't often see that, where you have a player gets a pitch that he should hit, perhaps for a home run, and he missed it by yanking it foul and being early. And then he just comes back on the next pitch and says, I'll just hit a home run anyhow.
Right, exactly. Here's Molfetta, a ground ball towards third base. Got to get it over there quick. And a good stretch over there by Michigan's first baseman. That's Ted Burton.
Bang, bang at first. Molfetta, nice play, making the throw on the run. And that's what Hazard needed.
A bit of a dance move in the air there by Molfetta to get that ball across his body really quick. Because clearly Slight was no slow runner.
Slight was no slight. No slouch.
First out of the inning, Slight goes down, and now it's time for Jordan Sweeney, the first baseman for Rutgers. Stands in the right-handed batter's box, ball's low. 1-0 count against Sweeney, who has 7 homers on the season. Every 4th at-bat, he's got a hit. Here's a foul ball. Another low pitch. Hazard has definitely known how to throw low, and Rutkowski has done the opposite, and he's been high all day.
And neither has been terribly effective. Hazard now has 4 runs to his name. Rutkowski's given up 2, as we are here 1 out in the 4th with Rutgers with the 2-run lead.
The 1-1 swings right through it. A breaking ball from Hazard as Sweeney goes straight through that one. It's 1-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning, where there's a 1 gleaming right under the 4th inning number for Rutgers. They have 1 run here in the inning. 4-2 lead for the Scarlet Knights as Mazur has to block that one low. Evens the count at 2.
Hazard has to be able to not let that home run rattle him and not let it disrupt the groove that he clearly had settled in after the rough first inning. He's got to pick up where he left off.
Here's a swing right through it, and he strikes him out, and that's the 2nd out of the inning now. And the 7th K of the ball game for Steve Hazard.
The MC cueing another one bites the dust. Indeed he does.
Well, he knows what to do with the Ox, doesn't he?
He does. It's his job. Doing a good job. We'll give him a shout out.
Another dirt-bound pitch from Hazard. And that's certainly been the theme. You talked about the theme of throwing a ball low for Hazard and throwing the ball high for Rutkowski, and maybe that's just a groove thing. He'll have to work at it throughout the next week before Michigan. There's another one.
Right on cue.
Another one for Michigan. Next week, the Wolverines will be taking on Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. It'll be a dual-type weekend. They take on Northwestern on Friday and then Saturday morning. Then the Fighting Illini Saturday night. And here's a ground ball to the second baseman for Michigan. Turning around in a weird way is Burton and retiring the side as it goes from Bertram to Burton. 3 outs for the Wolverines, and they'll head back up to the plate.
Well, Sweeney hit it right on the nose, but as they say, hit them where they ain't. And lined up perfectly for Michigan was Bertram. And so Hager surrenders the home run to lead off the inning, but then gets Slight, Sweeney, and Schulman, the S crew, down 1-2-3.
The S crew, there you go. Now this will be an interesting half inning. I'm going to sit here and try to watch Rutkowski and see what he throws, and so far he's only thrown fastballs. A lot of the time pitchers don't like to show their breaking ball much. But I've talked to a couple of different pitchers throughout the Northwoods League, which is where I like to call baseball games with the Duluth Huskies, but they said that they like to throw their curveball pretty much exclusively in these warm-ups, as there's a curveball, and again, it was high.
So Rutkowski staked with the lead. 4-2, Rutgers on top. He has had the lead ever since he threw a first pitch. Rutgers plating 3 in the top of the first. Michigan got 2 back in the bottom of the second, and then right as Hager looked to be settling into his routine dominance, he surrendered a sky-high home run in the top of the fourth. And that's where we are now, entering the bottom half of the frame. Rutgers up 4-2.
Mazer will lead off the inning for the Wolverines now. Done a good job behind the plate so far. No passed balls for the Wolverines, although Hager has been a bit wild in the first 4 innings of the ball game. Mazer 1 for 1 on the afternoon so far with a single into right field. The 0-0 pitch from Rutkowski is high, and Mazer will take a ball. One-0 count against Mazer. There's a swing and a foul ball straight back. It'll be 1-1.
Good hack. He was right on that one. Mazer got the Michigan rally started in the bottom of the second, poking a single to right field. And interesting enough, Sweeney is playing further off the bag, way off the line, closer to where Mazer hit it his last time up.
There's a swing and a miss straight through it for Mazer. Make the count 1-2 now against Michigan's catcher. Well, according to the board, Neister has 2 Ks, but it's truly Rutkowski that has the 2 Ks and 2 walks so far and 2 earned runs.
So they haven't quite fixed who's pitching, although they fixed the velocity.
And the Rutgers dugout on that last one wanted a strike low and in against Mazer to strike him out looking.
Shouts of "Come on, Blue" are audible here from our little booth.
There's a swing and a drive, deep left field, heading over towards the wall, and
it's going to go
according
foul.
to the umpire, it's going to go foul. I think Mazer knew it too. He never left the box.
Way out in front of that one. A bomb nonetheless.
Two and two, Rutkowski versus Mazer, and the umpire behind the plate now tells Rutkowski to slow down a bit as Mazer wasn't even set to go. The 2-2. Strike 3 looking. He got him on the breaking ball, and there you go, Jared. Rutkowski was able to take that ball from being way too high to ended up being high and then falling into the zone rather than being high and staying high. And that's something that he had to work on in the middle of the inning. He did. And once he bounced a ball in during the warm-ups with a breaking ball, maybe that tuned him in a bit.
Yeah, and as he makes his way through the order, second time through the order, perhaps see some of those adjustments come to play.
Squaring for a bunt is Sems for the Wolverines. He fouled it off. Just tipped it. 0-1. Seemed like both pitchers were settling in a bit. And then Hager allowed a dinger from Rutgers, and here's a strike on a fastball. It's 0-2. Sems is in a difficult position now for the Wolverines. The shortstop wears number 2 for Michigan. Last series against Minnesota, he was 5 for 12, 4 RBIs, and he plated 4 runs for himself. In the last game specifically, he was 2 for 4. He takes this ball. Last game against the Gophers, he was 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and he also had a walk. 1-2 count now against the Wolverines shortstop.
Sems has been Michigan's most prolific hitter.
There's a swing and a foul. Count will remain at 1-2.
And he certainly was prolific at Kansas, and where he transferred from in 2019. 305, drove in 39 runners, an all Big 12 second team selection, and named Kansas his MVP. He's on pace, though, to even exceed those numbers.
There's a swing and a chopper to the second baseman, Schulman. He tosses over to Sweeney, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Easy 4-3 single play.
Rutkowski now. It's his turn to have retired 7 in a row. He's settled into this ball game. And after Michigan had him on the ropes in the second, he was able to limit the damage to just 2 runs, keep that lead.
The 0-0 to Zimmerman. Swing and a miss right through it. A power swing from Zimmerman.
Big cut for Zimmerman, who has lots of power. We've seen it this year in bunches. Has 4 home runs and seldom playing time.
Here's the 0-1 from Rutkowski. That one's high. This time it was the fastball that was left up high. Maybe that's sometimes on purpose. Of course, you don't want to leave a breaking ball high, but a fastball high is okay sometimes, especially in a count like 0-1. The 1-1. This one's high and away from Zimmerman. Now he looks at the count. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here to sunny Ray Fisher Stadium at the Wilpon Complex. Michigan trailing 4-2 against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
Rutkowski looking to complete the shutdown inning after Rutgers got him a run in the top of the 4th.
Here was a bit of an awkward swing from Zimmerman. It certainly looked like he took his head off the ball, and that's something you probably hear starting in T-ball. Never take your eyes and head, off the ball. Keep the forehead kind of towards the ground, and that time it was an awkward swing from Zimmerman. The 2-2. That one's low. It hit the dirt right before it hit the glove of Ceruto.
Zimmerman's worked his way full.
The full count pitch from Rutkowski is high, and Michigan's Danny Zimmerman will take a stroll down to first base.
Good at bat by Zimmerman, right as it seemed as if Rutkowski was really settling in. Certainly would have loved that 1-2-3 inning. Would have been his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning, but Zimmerman delays Rutkowski's return to the dugout by at least another batter.
Here's Tito Flores, 1 for 1 in the afternoon, had that shot to left center field for the Wolverines to plate 2 runs, and there you go again, kind of crouching the plate, takes a strike inside. Guess the Flores hit only did plate 1 run, but Michigan gained 2 runs in that inning thanks to Flores. And there you go again, another crouched plate strike that he took right at the knees. That the umpires noticed that. They noticed that you're right on top of the plate, and if there's a pitch that may be a ball, may end up being called a strike if you were a bit further back. So it's an 0-2 count now against Tito Flores. Runner goes from first base. Throw down to second from Ceruto. Not in time, as Zimmerman does steal the bag for the Wolverines, putting him in scoring position.
Rutgers thought they had that one. The fielders were halfway to the dugout. On the other hand, Flores, in his first at-bat when he roped the RBI base knock to left center, he was able to climb out of an 0-2 hole by fouling off a series of breaking balls, 3 straight, and then the 4th whacked it for a hit.
Here's a drive from Flores down the left field line, and it's a fair ball. That's going to score Zimmerman. Flores heading towards second base, and he's going to have plenty of time to get there. And Flores, 2 RBIs in the ball game. How about that, number 22? It's a 4-3 lead now for Rutgers.
Well, right on cue, Flores does it again, second time today. Gets a 2-strike base knock to drive in a run, and the Wolverines pull within 1. It's 4-3 Rutgers.
How about Tito Flores, man? he's on the way to the cycle. Now he just has the two hardest ones to do. He's got to get the triple and he's got to get the homer.
One at a time. And so now if you're Rutkowski, you were moving along effortlessly, and now you're a base knock away from relinquishing the lead.
First pitch to Burton is called strike. Rutkowski's pulled together 3 walks, 3 Ks, 3 earned runs, and a bit of a shaky breaking ball, we'll say, today's game. He's left almost all of them high. I believe there's only been 2 or 3 maybe that have fallen in for strikes.
Both pitchers have flashed really good stuff, yet each inning seems to be a different tale as to whether they're on or off.
There's a swing and a foul over the hanger here at Ray Fisher Stadium over the right field side.
Burton responsible for one of Michigan's 3 runs on the docket with a sac fly that he smacked out to right field deep enough to get Sems in from third back in the second.
Rutkowski, the redshirt junior, making his 25th career start. This season he's 5th in Big Ten innings pitched. Like I said earlier, 9 Ks short of 200 for his career. He'd need 6 more this afternoon to reach that feat. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a liner down the right field line by Burton. That may score Flores. It will. And heading towards second is Burton. Heading towards third is Burton now. Getting the throw from the cutoff man. He's going to get down in a safe triple for the Wolverines. That makes the score 4-4 in play. Hail to the victors, because the game is all tied up now for Michigan. The first time since the first pitch in the ball game.
Well, they say baseball is a matter of inches, and we see why again there. The flare down the first base line. Burton waited back on that curveball and then lined it. And Sweeney, playing on the line, diving to his left, could not make the play, just outside the reach of his glove, an extended glove. And here we are, all tied at 4.
Bertram, he drives this one into right center field. Heading over is the right fielder, Schieckhofer, and he makes the catch on the first pitch to Riley Bertram. But hey, Jared, it's 4-4.
And we have a brand new ball game, as they say. At the end of 4, we're all tied at 4. Michigan has worked its way back, climbing out of the early 3-0 hole. And let's see what Steve Hazard can do after his team has rallied back to tie the game for him, as he goes back out to the mound for inning number 5.
Interesting enough this season, Jared, for Rutgers. They returned all 9 starters. Like we said earlier, they returned everyone, and everyone redshirted this past year. They returned 3 of their starting pitchers. And this season, Rutgers has set program records in wins, runs, home runs, total bases, slugging percentage, on-base percentage, Ks and walks for pitching, and average allowed. So a record-breaking season for Steve Owens and the Scarlet Knights out there in Piscataway, New Jersey.
Well, Steve Hazard wants to hear none of Rutgers' accolades as he tries to quell the Scarlet Knight lineup. We've talked about Hazard's pitch count. It's up to 73 through 4. His high is 102. He's done it 3 times this year. The last 2 starts has not been able to get deep into games, requiring 91 and 98 just to get through 5 innings. So we'll see what sort of leash Eric Bakich has on Hazard here this afternoon.
Of course, Steve Hazard, 2018 21st round MLB draft pick by the Milwaukee Brewers. Gatorade Player of the Year as a high schooler in Massachusetts back in 2018, a native of Andover, Massachusetts. He stands at 6'5", 215.
Prototypical frame.
Yeah, there you go.
But yes, shaky start. Shaky start, but it sort of rebounded despite giving up that home run in the past inning. As Ceruto, the number 9 hitter, steps in and gives an offering, lines it into left field. That's down for a base hit. Got a breaking ball and waited back for it. And a leadoff base runner for the Scarlet Knights. The 9 hitter Ceruto gets it done to flip the order back to the top with Neister leading off. And so not what you wanted to start off the fifth after Michigan had tied the game with 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth. Hazer, first pitch, base knock. And now he's got to try and wiggle his way free with 1, 2, 3 in the Rutgers order coming up.
A lot of the hits so far that we've seen in this ball game have been to right field, but now 2 of the Rutgers hits have been to left field, so it's kind of split in the middle of the first and second inning and third and fourth. We saw a lot of right field action and now a lot of left.
Neister flashes bunt, but pulls back and takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Neister got the Rutgers scoring, or set the table rather for the Rutgers scoring in the first with a leadoff single. Went on to steal second, advanced to third on a bunt, and came around on a double. The 0-1 delivery, still up there bunting, and he takes it at the knees, 0-2. So an interesting strategy here with Neister, the .328 hitter, flashing bunt twice, wondering if he's doing that on his own or relying on the signs. He is getting signs from his third base coach. Surely the bunt will be off here now that he's fallen behind 0-2. Hazer already with 7 strikeouts on the afternoon. Here comes the 0-2. Grounded to third. Molfetta backs up, plays the long hop to second for 1, on to first, not in time. Neister uses his feed to beat that one out, but nice play by Molfetta. Got the tough high hop out at third and able to get the force for the first out of the inning.
A good hop taken by Molfetta. Instead of charging it and trying to grab it down by his feet, he was patient and waited for the ball to bounce up to the letters which read Michigan in the maize and blue, tossing over to second base. And the relay just wasn't in time for the speedy Neister at first.
And good recognition, as you said, because even though easing back probably takes away your chance at a double play, would have been close with Neister's speed. And now Hazer hasn't picked off, but it sails high over the head of Burton. Rounding second, heading to third, and making it safely sliding is Neister. Well, Steve Hazer had Neister picked off, and he overshot Burton at first, sent it down the right field line. And now Rutgers primed to take the lead. Runner at third with 1 out.
And on a pickoff move like that, if you see the runner end up going, that may be one of the easiest outs that you're able to get. But then again, Hazer, who was already in his motion towards first base, may have just had that sense of anxiety.
Looked like he rushed it, yeah. And now, certainly this situation will increase the anxiety. Schickofer at the plate. The infield is in. He's looking to bunt. Pitches in the dirt.
And we need to give out a gold medal so far today to Mazer. He has done an incredible job blocking these pitches, and there have been no passed balls for the Wolverines from Hazer to Mazer, and it's been a great job that Mazer's done behind the dish so far.
And the situation he's in right now is certainly a pressure cooker with Neister great speed on a third. Anything in the dirt, certainly he has a chance to score on. Here's the 1-0. That's high. Sailed the breaking ball, and it's 2-0. As Hazer walks back to the mound. A bit of frustration setting in now. Infield is in, everyone on the lip of the grass. Neister leads off of third, a decently sized lead. He holds the go-ahead run. Here comes the 2-0, low and away, ball 3.
Michigan doesn't have anyone up in the bullpen, regardless of how long Hazer has been in the game so far, and pitch count, it seems like Bakich is trusting his guy.
3-0 for Schickofer. See if you give him the green light here. Infield is in, outfield is in. Here's the pitch, taken on the outside corner. 3-1. It's 4-4 here in the top of the fifth. Neister's aboard at third. Reached on a fielder's choice, then went first to third, and the errant pickoff throw by Hazer. After Hazer had Neister, a good throw to first would have surely gotten him. Here comes the 3-1, taken low, ball 4. So Schickofer works the walk, and Rutgers has men on the corners for the big boppers in the lineup, Brito and Lasco, with only 1 away.
Brito has now struck out twice in this ball game. Twice.
Hazer has had Brito's numbers, not good at bats either time. came up in the first in this a very similar situation. Runners on the corners with no outs. This time it's runners on the corners with one out. Those same runners for the three-hitter Brito. Michigan running through its signs. Mazer out in front of home plate, making sure everyone's on board. Bit of a shift on against Brito. Hugging the line at third is Molfetta. Sems at the shortstop position. But Bertram just a few feet to his left of the second base bag on the right field side. Hazer in a jam, trying to work out of it. First pitch, runners going. Wave and a miss at a pitch in the dirt. Baking the throw down to second is Mazer. And sliding in safely is Schiekofer. Neister wasn't going to bite. So now second and third, that erases the double play possibility.
Now, Rutgers has been on the move quite a few times today. They've tried stealing 3 different times, and they've been successful in all of them.
Here comes the 0-1 to Brito. Breaking ball sits low, and it's 1-1. Brito, as we have mentioned, is a power threat. He has 9 home runs on the year to lead Rutgers. Lasco on deck, right on his tail with 8. Runners are second and third. Infielders back, corners pinched in, and now a conversation impending between Hazer and Mazer, who jogs out to meet him. But it was a quick one. Mazer already heading back. Certainly a spot where Hazer could use a strikeout. He's got 7 on the day and fanned Brito, as we said, twice. Lasco looms on deck.
Chris Brito could certainly solve his day right now by knocking home 2 runs in Scarlet Knights' favor. He's already had 2 strikeouts here today, and with a knock to pretty much anywhere in the outfield will probably score both runners. Schiekofer's got some speed on him.
Here comes the 1-1. Wave and a miss at the pitch on the outer half of the plate, and it's 1-2. An all too familiar situation for Brito. And Hazer, 1 pitch closer from getting out of this. Second and third, 1 away.
You could tell that was a bit of a frustration swing after. He knew he shouldn't have swung at that pitch, so a bit away.
Comes the 1-2, golfed fouled on the right field side, so Brito stays alive. 4-4, top of the 5th. Rutgers threatening to take the lead with Neister on at third and Schiekofer on at second with only 1 out. Steve Hazer, and at this rate could very well be his last inning of work, trying to get out of it. Here comes the 1-2 to Brito. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. A foul tip, it looks like, held by Mazer on the pitch that was well low out of the zone. And Brito has now fanned 3 times. Hazer has his number, and he's 1 out away from getting out of this inning unscathed. Lasco at the dish, trying to knock in the runs for Rutgers. Neister on at third, Schiekofer on at second. Lasco, the right-hander, is 0-1, a ground out to short, and a walk. He came around to score in the first. Holds the bat high above his head. First pitch swinging, a cut and a miss. 0-1.
And Lasco, the freshman, shown a bit of freshman in him. He had 24 strikeouts on the season. He's walked 8 times. Didn't come into the season as a starter, but now he's played 22 games, but he started 20 of them.
A .321 average will get you in the lineup for sure. Trying to get the job done here. Here comes the 0-1, taken low. Good job by Lasco to hold back on that one, to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Hazer holds many preseason awards lists. Big Ten, D1Baseball.com, and USA Baseball Golden Spike, showing what he's all about here in the 5th.
1-1, skips in, 2-1. Speed on the bases, and they'll be going on contact, so a base knock, gotta figure, scores 2. This game deadlocked in a 4-4 tie. 2-1 on the way to Lasco. Swinging a pop-up down the right field side. Burton over for a look. Gets out of play. So 2-2 now, the count to Lasco.
Steve Hazard could pretty much put a check mark on a not terrible start. Wasn't great, it wasn't good, but not terrible because he's let up 4 runs now through almost 5 innings, 4 innings and 2 outs of work. We could put a stamp on at least a no decision in this ball game and stay away from the loss column as a pitcher here at Michigan.
He's got 8 strikeouts, a strike away from a 9th here. 2-2 to Lasco. Golfed fouled on the right field side again, out of play. Lasco just staying alive, swatting that one away.
And I'll tell you what, this inning it's been a little bit better from Hazard. The breaking ball. It has been a bit better for him. I know there's 2 guys on right now, so you may not think that every pitch has been great, but avoiding the dirt, especially in these situations, can be tough for a catcher like Mazer, who would have to go down and try to save it.
Here comes the 2-2. Fouled straight back. Right on that fastball. And so second straight foul on a 2-2 count. We'll do it again. 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Hazard to Lasco.
A great fight between the 2 right now. Hazard with a bit more experience, of course, than Lasco, but Lasco with a lot of intelligence beyond the plate, or at the plate, rather, as a freshman.
Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Went to the off-speed. An ugly swing and a miss by Lasco. Steve Hazard backs against the wall. Gets it done. Gets the 2 strikeouts he needed. First of Brito, then of Lasco to escape the jam.
And there you go, Jared. Like I said, if that's going to be his last inning of work, which it may be, he got out of the jam. A big jam to be in. But Rutkowski is going to take mound for this 5th inning of work for the Scarlet Knights.
A good job by Hazard after Michigan scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th to tie the game. He's able to preserve the momentum by making sure Rutgers put up a 0 in that top half of the 5th. And so now back to Rutkowski, who looks to Rutkowski, a bit of symmetry on his line. No runs in the 1st, gave up 2 in the 2nd, no in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. We'll see what the 5th has to hold. Michigan will have the top of its order. Rogers, Molfetta, and Elliott, which has not produced today, despite Michigan's 4 run. They have combined for 0 of 5 with a strikeout, a double play, and a walk. So let's see if they could turn the tide here and flip the script on their respective afternoons. It'll start with Jordan Rogers. He's flown out to right both times. Hit the ball well his last time up, but it died a bit deep on the track. So Rogers, the right-handed hitter, will get us started in the bottom of the 5th. Teams tied up at 4, each team with 4 hits. First pitch, Rogers takes it down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Rutkowski in his 5th inning of work. Coughed up the lead last inning. Here's the 0-1 to Rogers. That heads to the backstop low and ricochets all the way back to Ceruto. It's 1-1. Rutkowski's line, 4 innings, 4 hits, given up 4 runs, walked 3, struck out 3. Pitch count stands at 74 through 4+. Into the windup, here comes the 1-1 to Rogers, at the letters for a strike, and it's 1-2.
He's been putting some good strikes on the outside corner now that he's kind of settled in to all of his pitches. It's been a lot better controlling those high breaking balls that he couldn't necessarily settle down with, but now he's into his groove, tossing that breaking ball into the zone.
Here comes the 1-2. There's another breaking ball, just missed up and in. 2-2. So Rogers working the count a bit. He's had a knack for that so far this young season. Drawn praise for being able to get deep into counts and work his way on that way. Here comes the 2-2 from Rutkowski. Check swing, did he go around? He did. Home plate umpire knocks him out. Tried to hold off on the high heat. And Rogers goes down on strikes to open up the bottom of the 5th.
And there's the 4th of the ball game for Rutkowski. Rutkowski now needs 5 more And now it's just a matter of how long can he stay in the game until he gets to 200 career strikeouts, which would be an awesome feat for him to get. Of course, we don't necessarily want to see him K 5 more of our batters, but hey, 5 more until an impressive feat for number 41.
It would take quite a bit for Rutkowski to get that today, as it is 1-0 rather, to Molfetta. Rutkowski at 78 pitches through 4 1/3. Here comes the 1-0. Molfetta fouls it back. Molfetta's been struggling a bit. The average still at .313, but struggled last week in Minnesota and went down on 3 pitches in an ugly turn at bat last time up against Rutkowski after drawing a walk in the first. So we'll see if Molfetta can get back on track here this turn at bat. Rutkowski deals the 1-1. Golfed into left center field. That's down for a base hit. And it'll head all the way to the wall. Molfetta rounds first. He's going to be in at second with the 1-out double. So right on cue, Christian Molfetta does what Christian Molfetta does and gets Michigan a 1-out base runner in scoring position.
You want to know how you break a slump, Jared? It's that right there. That is how you break a slump. All you need is one sometimes. It's just like shooting free throws, right? Or shooting a basketball. You just need to see one hit the bottom of the net, and that's why a lot of times when you see a guy struggling in basketball on the court at a night, he'll try to go around the referee and toss one through to see, just go through the bottom of the net, because sometimes, truly, that's all you need to see.
And the celebration by Molfetta upon reaching second base. He now accounts for the potential go-ahead run in the bottom of the 5th. These teams knotted up at 4. Clark Elliott strides to the plate. He's hit 2 ground balls this afternoon. 1 accounted for a double play. 0 for 2. Lefty on lefty matchup. Molfetta a small lead at second. Here's the pitch. Floats high. 1-0. Molfetta being shadowed by DiGiorgio, the shortstop, playing a few steps to the right of the second base bag. So Rutkowski finds himself in a jam in the same manner as Hadger was in the top of the 5th. Hadger worked his way out of it. Let's see what Rutkowski can do in his turn.
Rutkowski in this inning is taking his time a couple of times now.
Looks a little uncomfortable. Here comes the 1-0 to Elliott. Swinging a high fly ball to left, shaded toward the line. Slight giving it a chase. It's out of play into the Michigan bullpen.
And there comes that distance between the left field line wall and fair play again. About only 9 or 10 feet. We'd have to, measure it out. But not a lot of room to go over there and try to snag a ball that's gone foul.
And so the count even now at 1-1 to Elliott. Molfetta stands as the go-ahead run here in the 5th at second. Here comes the 1-1. Skipped in. Nice block by Ceruto. The one hopper to the plate, and he made that one look easy to prevent Molfetta from potentially advancing to third. And now Ceruto will head out to the mound along with the pitching coach for Rutgers for a bit of a conference.
Now I'll tell you what a comeback and composure Michigan has showed in this ballgame today. They were down 3-0 early, put up a donut in the first inning, and like you said, the bit of symmetry between the second and fourth inning of not scoring any, scoring 2, not scoring any, scoring 2. And Michigan, who was down all the way until the top of the fourth inning, has settled in for sure. It's the 23rd ranked team in the country. Tied it up at 4, and we're still in a knot here with Michigan threatening a guy at second base. And Clark Elliott, a .307 hitter on the season with 4 homers, 15 RBIs. Let's make it 16, huh?
And a long meeting at the mound here for Rutgers. The home plate umpire is out, just standing there, not quite breaking it up. Not sure if he's involved in this, and now he finally gets the pitching coach to go back. And now following suit is Ceruto. So let's see if Elliott is able to stay the course and stay in the at-bat after that impromptu pause. 2-1 the count, Elliott ahead. Molfetta on at second after the 1-out double. Rutkowski deals the 2-1, and it's inside, nearly hit him. Elliott bent out of the way of the breaking ball, and it's 3-1, a hitter's count. Mazer looms on deck, and then Sem's in the hole.
Although he did take a K-looking last time up, Mazer did. Last weekend was 4 for 10, 4 RBIs. and scored 6 runs for the Wolverines.
3-1 to Elliott, chopped toward the right side. This is going to be a close play at first. Covering is Rutkowski, and he beats Elliott to the bag for the second out. Molfetta advances to third. And so the 3-1 put out for Elliott. And 2 outs. Molfetta at third. The baton passed to Griffin Mazer.
Well, if he was going to do anything there as getting out, he may as well have advanced the runner, right? It'd be another sort of sacrifice as he moves the runner over to third, and Mazer's got a job to do now. Let's say Elliott just strikes out. The runner's not at third, and a pass ball doesn't score the runner. So nonetheless, a helping hand from Elliott.
Decent speed at third. In Molfetta, first pitch to Mazer, big hack and a miss, and he swung through the off speed, 0-1.
Mazer was really looking for his 6th homer there, wasn't he?
Yeah. See if he could refine that approach here. Doesn't need a homer. A base knock will get the job done.
Certainly wouldn't mind, though.
This is true. Here comes the 0-1. Rides high, 1-1. Mazer, 22 RBI on the season for the Wolverines.
And that may have been one of the first fastballs that we've seen soar high for Rutkowski. Typically, it's been the breaking ball that's been left upstairs.
Rutkowski nearing the end of his afternoon perhaps also. Here comes the 88th pitch. Mazer lays off the low pitch. 2-1.
Rutkowski has gone as high as throwing 113 pitches in a start before his Rutgers does have someone going out there in the bullpen. Probably a bit too far for us to see out there. But 113 pitches is near 80 now.
2-1 inside, nearly hit Mazer, and it's 3-1.
Hitters count here for Mazer. Could bring Sems to the plate, who did take a walk earlier in the game before grounding out to second.
3-1 rides high, ball 4. Sends Ceruto way out of his crouch to get it. And so Mazer works the 2-out walk to bring up the aforementioned Sems. He'll have a chance to put Michigan on top. Men on the corners, 2 outs in a 4-4 ball game.
Well, Sems had quite the series against the Gophers. He batted 5 for 12, 4 RBIs, and plated 4 runs. He homered on the 18th against Minnesota 5 days ago over there in Minneapolis. The Wolverines took 3 of 3, winning 21-5, 4-0, and 9-5.
So Sems in the lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch takes it on the outside corner, a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Molfetta, the runner, at third. Mazer on at first. Sems is 0 for 1 with a walk so far today. Did score on a sac fly back in the second. And that's over for a strike as well, 0-2. So Rutkowski has put himself in a favorable position, trying to get out of this jam.
That's 2 straight fastballs that have been watched from Sems. Have just been painted in the corners. Hasn't necessarily been right down the middle, because I'm sure Sems would take a hack at it, but an 0-2 count nonetheless, as Rutkowski's going to take his time yet again.
Now Sems has to work on staying alive. One more strike will do him in. 0-2 the count. Men on the corners, 2 gone. And a tied game at 4 apiece. Rutkowski deals the 0-2 to Sems. Chopped to short. DiGiorgio on the backhand gets a nice friendly high hop. Low throw, but handled over at first base by Sweeney to retire the side. So Michigan threatens, but can't get Molfetta home after the 1-out double. And so at the end of 5 here at Ray Fisher Stadium, 4-4 the score.
And a bit of an odd decision, maybe. I know they ended up getting the out there at first base, but DiGiorgio could have just underhand tossed to Schulman, who was chilling there at second base. And Michigan's runner at first base, which was Mazer, was still only about halfway down the line, but nonetheless gets the put out. And that'll be the end of Hazer's day for the Wolverines.
So a solid outing, not his sharpest for Steve Hazer. Last 5 innings, the pitch count was certainly riding high. It ends at 94. Gives up 4 hits, 4 runs, walked 2 and struck out 9. Well, only 1 run was unearned, but the error was Hazer's fault. I always think that when I feel like if the error's on the pitcher, those runs should be earned because it's the pitcher's fault. But that's a gripe for another day. And so Isaiah Page will enter in relief of Hazer, whose day is done.
Isaiah Page has been a name recognized across Michigan for a couple years now. He's been really good out of the bullpen. I believe he started a couple of games a couple years back, but maybe just didn't have the stamina to stay in a couple of games. And now Isaiah Page will take the mound for the Wolverines. Comes into this one with an ERA of 3.68 on the season, 0-1. He's appeared 7 times, started no games for the Wolverines. He's pitched 7 innings, allowed 9 hits, 3 runs. All 3 of them were earned and only 1 base on balls, but he's collected 6 strikeouts for the Wolverines.
And Isaiah Page enters with no room for error in a tied game in the top of the 6th. So Hazer's day is tough to put a grade on it because he settled down nicely after giving up 3 runs in the first. But certainly when you send your top pitcher out to the mound, you don't want to surrender 4 runs to the Scarlet Knights. But he showed flashes of brilliance, retired 7 straight at one point, struck out 9, and those big 2 outs to end his day. So I think if you're Hazer, you go out on a positive note with those back-to-back strikeouts to strand a pair of runners in scoring position.
Well, hey, and like we've talked about, Hazer, no decision. Remains 3-0 in his career and stays out of the loss column. The donut, the big fat donut, still sits there in losses for Hazer as the first pitch from Page at the top of the 6th inning is low and away, ball 1 to DiGiorgio, who is leading off his 2nd different inning now. He led off the 4th as well. We're now sitting here in the 6th with the score 4-4. Michigan 5 hits on the afternoon, Rutgers 4, but Michigan's collected 2 errors to Rutgers 0. Second pitch is fouled away off the right field line, 1-1 against DiGiorgio. 1 for 2 on the afternoon for Danny. He has the lone homer in the ball game over the left field wall.
Towering shot that one was.
It's got to be to get over that left field wall.
Yeah.
The 1-2 from Page is lined down the right field line and in a little crevice down the right field line between the wall.
Well,
he places that line drive.
DiGiorgio stayed back on the breaking ball, but not long enough, and that's why it sliced just foul. Tried to tuck it inside the foul line into right field, but it tailed.
Page, who has 6 strikeouts on the year, gets him looking and sits down DiGiorgio, 1 out in the inning. Isaiah Page comes in and does a brilliant job of retiring the number 5 hitter for the Scarlet Knights.
Well, perfect start to Isaiah Page's afternoon, exactly what Eric Backish asked for. Let's see if he could keep this going.
Maybe not the greatest discipline at the plate for Scarlet Knights in this game. 5 Ks looking. The first one from Page, who works solely out of the stretch. A wave and a miss from Slight. A big swing. He was trying to get that one over the indoor training facility, which sits back there in right field towards the big house.
And he's not a huge power guy. Just 3 home runs on his 2021 campaign.
The left fielder for the Scarlet Knights, that's lefty. He takes a strike for strike 2, and now Isaiah Page has got him exactly where he wants him.
Well, this is exactly what you want when you put in a reliever. Just throw strikes, and Page is doing that so far.
Double-digit strikeouts in the ball game for the Wolverines, looking for their 11th total. Page looking for his 2nd on the 0-2. The ball is low on an 81-mile-per-hour breaking ball. That was blocked potently by Mazer, who has had his work cut out for him today.
Slight did a nice job laying off that one. A sharp breaking ball.
Isaiah Page wanted that one for strike 3. Instead, the umpire stands pretty still. Mazer looked back at him like, hey, man.
Mazer jumped up, ready to throw that one around the horn. Didn't get the call.
Nonetheless, we're in a 2-2 situation now. Isaiah Page tossing to Slight. He checked his swing, and no go. Mazer, for the second straight time, got up to toss it around again.
I do think Slight held off on that one. I don't know how. That was a wicked breaker by Page, who's really looked good so far.
So Page, who was 0-2 in this count with 1 out, has now thrown 3 straight balls. So talk about patience for Slight. We just talked about being a bit undisciplined, watching called strike 3s go by, and there could have been 2 in this inning so far. The 3-2 from Page. There's a chopper to the first baseman. That's Burton. He steps over, makes the out, and it's 2 down in the top of the 6th for the Scarlet Knights and Isaiah Page.
Page looks confident on the mound. Parlays into his performance so far. 2 up, 2 down, as you mentioned. Michigan's going to need to rely on their bullpen today if they want to win the opener of a 3-game set. Hadger went 5. Couldn't go any further. Surrendered 4 runs.
First baseman Jordan Sweeney, where's number 32, takes a ball low from Isaiah Page. Where's number 25 for the Wolverines, and they're, I think, one of the best uniforms in college baseball. Truly.
Yeah, they're clean.
The all-white with the single stripe down the legs. Michigan in the maize and blue across the chest, and the number, the little patch on the bottom left area of the jersey with the black M, of course, on the sleeve. You got to have it. 1-1. Shift is on for the Wolverines. Bertram stands almost right behind second base. Here's a ball taken away. Sweeney.
Let's see what Page does here behind in the count for the first time today. 2 balls and a strike. How he attacks Sweeney. 0 for 2, but a power threat. 7 home runs. That's the 3rd most in the Rutgers lineup.
Here's a wave and a miss from Sweeney, and they've been taking some pretty big swings here in the inning. Had Rutgers trying to put the ball over the wall against Isaiah Page.
Not paying any dividends thus far.
Page has only allowed 1 homer on the season. With all 2s on the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's a pitch and a low breaking ball from Page.
Another good take by Sweeney.
Looked like that one might have been the changeup. Counts full with 2 outs. Scores 4-4. Michigan Rutgers knotted up here at Ray Fisher Stadium. And oh no, Jared, the sun's gone.
It's getting a little chilly. We've got the door propped open here.
There's a wave and a miss from Sweeney. Isaiah Page gets through the top of the 6th inning with 2 strikeouts and a ground out to the first baseman. Michigan will now have to come back up and do some damage. It'll be Zimmerman, Flores, and Burton. And how about the day so far from Tito Flores after misjudging that ball in the first inning, essentially costing Michigan 3 runs. We don't want to put the blame totally on him because there was an error in the inning that could have avoided putting some extra guys on base. But a good job by Tito Flores so far at the plate.
We're in the early stages of the cycle watch for Flores. He's got the single, he's got the double. Of course, the 2 most difficult aspects loom afterwards. And what a perfect 1-2-3 inning for Isaiah Page. Exactly what you asked for if you are Eric Bakich. Page delivers out of the bullpen. We'll see who Michigan turns to after that, if perhaps they let Page ride for another. But for now, it's the Bats' turn, and the Wolverines will have Zimmerman, Flores, and Burton coming up.
And both pitchers, starting pitchers, the left-handers, both southpaws, Michigan and Rutgers, will both receive no decisions today because Owens has decided to go to the bullpen. It'll be Kyle Muller, the pitcher for Rutgers. He wears number 13. He is a right-hander. ERA is 2.19 on the season. He's made 11 appearances, record of 1-1. He's pitched 12.1 innings on the season, allowed 9 hits, and he struck out 13. A good amount of strikeouts for the Rutgers pitcher.
Yeah, decent day for Rutkowski. I'm sure he'll lament the fact that he relinquished an early 3-0 lead, but nonetheless leaves with the game tied. So a solid outing for him.
And it was still better than last week, where he also had a no decision. He pitched 4 innings and 1 out, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, and 2 Ks on 89 pitches thrown for Rutkowski. So 2 straight no decisions for the redshirt junior Scarlet Knight. Now it's Muller's turn. First pitch is a good curveball that breaks away from Danny Zimmerman, strike 1 looking. Zimmerman again, a .273 hitter on the season for the Wolverines. Dropped a bit so far now because he's a .265, 0 for 1 on the day. Here's a swing and a foul ball way over the right field line. For Zimmerman, he now sits there 0-2.
Well, and as Muller is ahead 0-2, he is a strikeout pitcher, 13 through 12 1/3 so far on the year.
The 0-2 to Zimmerman is high.
Zimmerman worked a walk in his last turn at bat, came around to score in the bottom of the 4th, the frame in which the Wolverines tied the game at 4, and that's where we stand now, 2 innings later in the bottom of the 6th.
Now, it's hard to say about the consistency of the pitcher through 3 pitches, but here's a swing and a line drive down the left field line foul. It'll remain at 1-2, but back to this consistency part. It's only been 4 pitches thrown by Muller, but he's been controlling his pitches already better than it looked like Rutkowski was.
Both
threw a fastball high, and you know that's what you got to do sometimes.
Both Page and Muller coming in throwing strikes. That'll make their coaches happy, save them a few headaches.
Save him a few arms as well, that's for sure. The 1-2 to Zimmerman from Muller. Here's a swing and a skied fly ball to center field. Not too deep. Lasko comes over, makes the catch, tosses it back into his second baseman, Schulman. 1 down for Muller and the Scarlet Knights.
And here comes Tito Flores. Quite a day at the plate for him. 2 for 2, 2 runs driven in, 1 run scored, a base knock, and a 2-bagger so far for Flores.
The Michigan right fielder. I don't know, Jared. Looking at his stance right now in the box, he may be a bit further away from the plate than usual. Maybe an inch or 2.
Maybe looking to yank something down the left field line.
Take strike 1 looking. 2 for 2 on the day, 2 RBIs, 1 run for Tito Flores. Playing right field, he was a culprit of misjudging a ball in the first inning, which costed Michigan a couple of runs, but he's made his day a lot better as he watches one go by for a ball. It's 1-1 with 1 out here. In the bottom of the 6th inning at a shady now Ray Fisher Stadium in the beautiful Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you play at 4 o'clock. You see the good and bad of the weather.
Here's a line shot towards the Michigan bullpen. They had to get out of the way for that screamer.
Coming in hot.
1-2 now against the Michigan right fielder. And I'll tell you what, we have seen a couple of fly balls now, line drives to the outfield, that were misjudged earlier, maybe due to the wind or the sun, but we may not have that issue anymore. We can see the American flag in left field isn't necessarily swaying, and Tito Flores is going to take a hit by pitch as he'll scamper down to first base.
That came in on Flores, the off speed.
He's got to run that one off a bit.
Yeah, jogged very quickly down to first, trying to run that one off, now stretching over in foul territory.
The way he turned, did he get hit in the knee there?
I thought it was the knee. I couldn't really tell. Definitely lower half of the leg.
Hit on the right knee as a right-handed hitter. So that's got to be a new spot to get hit. I couldn't imagine taking even an 82-mile-per-hour, even though it was a breaking ball.
Nonetheless, Flores will take it. He's on base for the 3rd time today. And he poses as the potential go-ahead run in this 4-4 ball game in the bottom of the 6th.
Ted Burton, first baseman for the Wolverines. Flores gets running. Burton, a line shot, deep center field, and Lasko's under it now, playing it well. And Flores is going to make a run to second base. Lasko, a good throw, and Schulman dropped it at second base. It was maybe a bit off cue from Lasko, from his perspective, a bit to the right, and there's a sacrifice.
Not your everyday sacrifice.
From first to second base.
Yes. Nonetheless, man in scoring position, 2 outs. Base knock by Bertram gets the job done.
Riley Bertram, whereas number 12, the second baseman for the Wolverines, stands strong in his left-handed stance. Kyle Muller, the pitcher for the Scarlet Knights. A good fastball on the outside lower corner. When you talk about painting the corners, I think that's pretty much the textbook definition of it. An 0-1 count against Riley Bertram.
Bertram's been silenced today, 0 for 2 at the bottom of Michigan's order.
And there's another one. This time it's a high painted corner fastball.
Yeah, now he's in
And
an
that
0-2
one may have been
hole.
a breaking ball. It may have been a changeup. It looks straight, but unless the speed machine is broken again, pretty sure that was a breaking ball. The 0-2 with 2 outs. Bertram with the chance to give Michigan the lead. There's a swing and a foul. It'll head over the Michigan dugout. Hit the iron, make the clank sound, and we're back to an 0-2 count. 4-4 knot between Michigan and Rutgers 727 days later from their last match when Michigan won here at Ray Fisher Stadium in a 10-inning matchup. The 0-2 from Muller. There's a swing and a drive to right field. Going back is Schieckhofer. He makes a catch with his left hand glove, and that'll take us into the last part of the ball game, 7th inning.
Almost time to stretch. Laser, though, off the bat of Bertram. Just right at Schieckhofer, though. Had it measured up all the way. And it looks like it's going to be inning of work number 2 for Isaiah Page. Had a beautiful 1-2-3 frame in relief of Hager in the 6th. And he's back out on the mound for warm-up pitches in the 7th. Rutgers will look to the bottom third of the order, rather. Sweeney, Shulman, and Cerudo. Against Page. Recorded 2 strikeouts and a ground out in his lone inning of work thus far.
Well, Rutgers gets to the bottom of their lineup for the 7th. Michigan will head to the top and the bottom, but of course we got to get through the top of the 7th first. It'll be Rogers, Malfetta, and Elliott 1-2-3 for the Wolverines in the 7th after the long-awaited stretch here from Ray Fisher Stadium.
And where we stand right now, it's a 4-4 ball game. If you're just joining us, you missed a decent amount. Rutgers jumped off to a quick start. 3 runs, tagging Stephen Hager in his first inning of work with the big hit. A 3-run, 2-out double off the bat of Slight. Michigan got closer in the 2nd, tacked on 2 runs. A bomb off the bat of DiGiorgio in the 4th put Rutgers at 4-2, and the Wolverines answered right back with 2 runs of their own in the bottom half of the inning to tie the ball game. Tito Flores getting it done with a double, and then Burton with the triple. So 4-4 is where we stand through 6. Isaiah Page came in relief for Hager in last inning, set Rutgers down in order, and now looks to do the same to begin his 2nd inning of work. First pitch on the way to the left-hand hitting Shulman. Catches the outside corner, 0-1. Isaiah Page poured in strikes in the 6th, then gets ahead of Shulman here, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Be Shulman, Cerudo, and then Neister. And a swing and a miss on a fastball. It's 0-2.
And this is certainly something that Coach Eric Bakich wanted to do for the Wolverines, was to get Hager out of the game, although he did pitch a decent game, get him out of the game and have someone come in and just throw strikes to have his back, and Page has done that.
The 0-2, chopped to 2nd. On the backhand is Bertram, slings it to first in time for the first out of the inning.
Michigan's infielders have done a really good job in this ball game and staying patient. They haven't necessarily rushed the ball. A lot of the time they're waiting for the ball to come and eagle scoop it and take it right in between their legs and make a good strong toss as Michigan heads into the shift now again. with Cerruto at the plate.
Cerruto roped a first pitch single into left field. Last time up, swings at the first pitch again. And to the right side, it's positioned perfectly. And making the play is Bertram. Right around the area of the second base bag. A few steps toward the first base side was Bertram, and it's as if he knew what was happening before it did. Cerruto hit it right to him, and so 2 quick outs for Isaiah Page.
And you know the Wolverines defense is taking their time, like I just said again, when they're able to tap their glove before the ground ball even gets to them.
First pitch to Neister, taken down the middle, 0-1. Isaiah Page looks very, very good so far in his first inning of work and now his second.
He is settled into his element right now, and his pitch count is not up there for the Wolverines, so if he gets out of this at-bat quick and there's another strike, we may see Isaiah Page for a third inning.
And now he's ahead of Neister, 0-2. Looking to make this a very speedy inning. Got to be careful, though, with Neister, hitting at a .323 clip. He's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Here comes the 0-2 from Page. Breaking ball, high chopper to the left side. Molfetta cuts off Sems, and it ricochets off his glove, trickles into left field. Sems back out to get it. We'll see how that's going to be scored. Would have been a tough play to nab the quick Neister, and it is an error on Molfetta.
E5 for the Wolverines, their third of the ball game. We'll see if this one cost them. The first one did, the second one did not.
2 errors on Hazard, and now Molfetta responsible for the third, and Neister on at first. So Page, who was in his groove, will try to not let the miscue behind him affect him. Schiekofer at the dish, left-handed hitter. First pitch rising low, 1-0.
May be wrong, but that's probably the slowest pitched ball of the afternoon for Isaiah Page and the Wolverines at 79 miles an hour. His breaking ball so far is pretty much sat at 81-82. He took a little bit off of that one, and it rode low.
Throw over to first to check on Neister, who's already wreaked havoc on the base paths today. He's back in, though, this time. He stole a base back in the first, and then in the fifth was picked off, but then with an error, the throwing error by Azure, wound his way all the way to third.
Confident base runner stole a base on the first pitch after his at-bat.
Baltimore chop to short. Sems. Oh, wow, what a play by Sems.
And the fist bump from Page.
It was hit right to the second base bag. Sems coming in to get it, lost his footing, stumbling backwards, able to glove that high chopper, and then stepped right on the bag to nab Neister. Wow, what a play by Sems.
An absolute balancing act from Sems as he was about to lose his balance falling backwards. I didn't think the ball was hit that hard, but hey, made the play. And the Wolverines head to the 7th inning stretch, and Muller will take the mound again for Rutgers.
And that ball was in the air so long after the chop, and with Neister's speed, I don't even know how he was able to get him at second. The only way he could was that ball took him right to the bag, and he, as he was falling backwards, practically tumbled over the bag. And so Sems bails out Page and Molfetta, who committed the error, and we're in the stretch. Halfway through the 7th, 4-4 the score. Michigan and Rutgers, the bats have fallen silent. The last runs were scored in the bottom of the 4th. Let's see if Michigan can perhaps reopen the door to its offense here in the bottom of the 7th.
The DJ's got it going on too right now. That was a pretty smooth transition if we're talking about those.
DJ is into the game. Gotta please the family and friends who are in attendance here. A decent
crowd. Quite a few. It's nice to have fans back at the ballpark bringing a bit of an atmosphere.
You could certainly hear it when they complain at the umpire.
There you go.
So Michigan will look to find an offensive spark. They'll turn to the top of the order. Rogers, Molfetta, and Elliott. Rogers 0 for 3 on the day. 2 flyouts to right and a strikeout.
1-2-3 for the Wolverines to start the inning.
First pitch on the outside corner, a strike, 0-1. Muller, just like Page, came into relief in the 5th of his starter, or in the 6th rather. Pitched a solid inning, a scoreless frame, and now goes back to the mound for his second inning of work on the afternoon. The 0-1 to Rogers, whacked foul on the right field side, 0-2.
And Jared, I may be wrong, but there is a car out there that just grabbed a souvenir as a baseball.
I think a fair share of cars. I said this last baseball game I announced. As a PSA, just don't park your car in the parking lot. It's worth the hassle to walk an extra 5 minutes to the game.
And the indoor training facility is right down the street, so just park there.
Exactly.
For anyone that wants to visit a ball game in the future.
0-2 rides high, 1-2 to Rogers. It's just not worth the potential damage. I mean, the cracked windshield, the who knows what. Get a little more exercise. You'll be sitting at the game for 3+ hours anyhow. Here comes the 1-2.
You only get one time to stretch.
Poked foul on the right field side. That heads for the bullpen, not the parking lot. Rogers trying to get his day going, 0 for 3. 268 hitter on the season. Has been a catalyst atop Michigan's lineup.
And I'll tell you what, you and I get a treat here, pretty much 2 for 1. As a softball team just started up against Northwestern on the other end.
This is true. Rogers takes it low. We've got softball coverage also. I don't see why you would ever want to turn us off, but if you were to turn us off, the best place to go would be back to our YouTube page and listen to the softball game. But don't leave us. This is a good game. 4-4, bottom of the 7th. 2-2 to Rogers. Hit to the left side, ranging over, making the sliding play, but not being able to handle it cleanly is Brito. He gloved it and then tried to get up. He knew he had to hurry to get Rogers and bobbled it on the transfer. So an infield hit for Rogers. Michigan's got a leadoff base runner as the Wolverines try and take the lead. Tied at 4 here in the 7th.
First time of the ball game that Jordan Rogers has reached base, and that'll increase his current hit streak and his season long to 6.
And Rogers has speed on the diamonds. And a bit of a conference.
Bit of a powwow.
Yeah, not sure what is going on here. Both the first base and third base coach, and Eric Bakich, and the base runner Rogers, and the batter Molfetta, and the on-deck hitter Elliott are all gathered about 10 feet in front of the Michigan dugout. Frankly, not really sure why the umpire is allowing this.
Maybe they're talking about their dinner plans.
Probably. I mean, what is this, like a timeout? I don't understand what's going on. And 1, 2, 3, break. Everyone back to their position.
We could take just a second to talk about the success that Bakich has had at this university. We talked about it before we went on the broadcast. I was able to come to a short baseball camp here, and he took about 2 minutes out of every individual person and went and talked to them about their aspirations for baseball. And I was like 13 at the time, so it was awesome that he's that kind of person to come around and spend that kind of time with kids. He's 266 and 169 all time. Done a great job here at UM.
Certainly a stand-up guy, and definitely has this Michigan baseball program in the right direction after that trip to Omaha 2 years ago. Would have had a good team last year and do have a good team this year. Rogers on at first. Molfetta bends backwards now into his stance at the dish. And another throwback to check on Rogers. He's in. He's taking a big lead aboard at first. And rightfully so. Rutgers keeping an eye on him. He's 4 of 7 in terms of stolen bases on the year. A threat on the base paths. So another...
I would certainly be a bit anxious, too, after that weird timeout that Michigan took.
Yeah, who knows what they drew out. First pitch to Molfetta. Checked his swing. It doesn't matter. It's a strike. 0-1.
With no outs in the inning, Michigan could try to put a big damper on Rutgers' chances in this game, tied 4-4. Understanding that it's tied, Michigan could take a lead and kind of blow the air out of Rutgers a little bit.
Rogers, another big lead. Here comes the 0-1. Hack and a miss. Went down to a knee, swinging through the high fastball. And Molfetta quickly behind 0-2.
A lot of experience off the bat of Molfetta. He is a fifth year, bats .316 on the season. 98 at-bats coming into this one.
Batting .317 with runners on. Rogers is going. The 0-2 is high. The throw to second, not in time. It skips in, knocked away. Scampering after it is Schulman. He'll get to it. It's a stolen base for Jordan Rogers. Not a good throw from Ceruto behind the dish.
He certainly had enough time to get up and toss it down to second base, and I truly believe he would have been out with the throw on time.
That ball,
on precision.
The throw bounced just after the pitcher's mound and then trickled in on a couple of hops. And so Muller now steps off the mound and back onto it. Runner at second, nobody out. He is ahead in the count on Molfetta, a ball and 2 strikes. Rogers on at second. Here comes the 1-2, fouled off down the right field side. Molfetta stays alive, and we'll do it again.
Let's check the lead on this next pitch here from Jordan Rogers at second base. It looks like he's only about 3-4 feet off now, but it will be extended here in due time.
Schulman, the second baseman, playing right to the side of the bag.
He's truly shadowing the bag, isn't he? The shadow is right on top of the bag. There's the pickoff move.
And Muller steps off, keeps an eye on Rogers. Now 6 stolen bases on the year. Muller steps back on. Molfetta at the dish, behind in the count 1-2. He doubled his last time up. And another step off. Rogers not going anywhere. He is literally shadowed by Schulman at second base.
Well, Rogers certainly has Muller's attention. It's been 4 different times now that he's attempted some sort of pickoff move.
And you wonder how much that affects Muller as he tries to focus on Molfetta. The 1-2, check swing, pitch in the dirt. Did he go around? Molfetta doesn't seem to be happy, but he's not leaving the box until now. It appears the home plate umpire called him out, and Molfetta's gripe must be that he wanted him to check with one of the field umpires who have a better view as to if the barrel actually did go around.
If we don't have one at first base is obviously
True.
the issue.
Right. And so the home plate umpire had to make the call. Molfetta not pleased, and he heads back to the dugout with an empty trip. So the baton passed to Elliott. Rogers at second with 1 away. Elliott, the left-handed hitter, gets a chance to face a righty for the first time today. 0 for 3. Here comes the first pitch from Muller, taken low, 1-0.
Be time for Elliott to get on base for the first time here today. Doesn't really matter how he does it. Of course, he'd like to turn the 15 RBIs into 16 for the Wolverines.
He's hitting .250 with runners in scoring position. So a shade below his .303 clip on the season. Takes a ball, 2-0. He's come on twice today with runners on. Bounced into a double play with the runner on first, back in the first. And then in the 5th, grounded out to first after Molfetta had doubled. So he's in that same situation here. Runner at second and 1 out. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Rogers dancing off second. The 2-0 down the middle of strike, taking all the way, and it's 2-1.
Talking about taking all the way, I don't think he even loaded up for that last pitch.
He'll want to load up for this one. 2-1. So it's the shortstop this time, holding on. Rogers at second base. DiGiorgio. Here comes the 2-1 to Elliott. Nice pitch. Snaps around the outside corner. 2-2. Went for the breaking ball. And Muller has worked his way back to even the count.
If you looked up the textbook definition of a backdoor breaking ball, I think you'll find it right there. Really good pitch that soared from the outside coming in. And Clark Elliott, who was up in the count 2-0, has it even now from Muller at 2-2.
2-2 to Elliott. Swinging a flare into center field, coming in his last go, and he makes the diving catch. Played that one perfectly, knew just how much time he had. And Elliott is retired for out number 2.
No tag at all there from Rogers. He may have thought that ball may have sunk a little bit at the block M there in center field. Velasco makes a good play on it, goes down to his knees to make the catch. Maybe not the prettiest of dives. I don't think you'd get a 10 from any of the judges in a swimming and diving competition, but hey, he made a good catch. 2 outs now for Muller and the Scarlet Knights.
And so Molfetta couldn't get the job done. Elliott couldn't get the job done. Now 2 outs. Rogers still on at second for Griffin Mazer. A brief conference at the mounds between the battery mates. Cerruto now jogs back to take his position as Mazer steps into the box. Rogers with speed at second can score in a single, especially with the fact that he'll be going on contact with 2 away. 4-4, we're still deadlocked here in the bottom of the 7th. Michigan threatening. First pitch to Mazer is low, 1-0.
Mazer, another one of those guys that's a fifth-year senior with a lot of patience at the dish. 14 Ks on the season, but he's also walked 16 times. And man, talk about being a ball magnet. He's been hit 9 times on the season, which is a season high for the Wolverines.
Both a good and a bad thing. The 1-0 is low, 2-0. And that helps explain why Mazer's batting average is .434. He's a .304 hitter himself with runners in scoring position.
Coming into this one, had an on-base percentage of .500 even.
2-0, a high fly ball hit to right center field. This should be playable. Shading over in the gap and making the catch is Lasco. So the Wolverines had Rogers at second with nobody out after the single and stolen base. And the heart of the order, 2, 3, 4, go down in order. And at the end of 7, we're still tied at 4 between Michigan and Rutgers here at Ray Fisher. And it looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for the Wolverines. It's going to be Joe Pace coming into the game. Third pitcher of the day. Azure went 5. Isaiah Page with 2 brilliant scoreless frames. And now it's Pace's turn to take the mound.
And interesting enough, Joe Pace got his first at-bat of the season last week in Minneapolis against the Gophers, and he hit a double. Joe Pace bats 1,000 on the season. the graduate pitcher.
It was an exclamation point in that
21-5 victory over the Maroon and Gold. But Joe Pace nonetheless comes in with, let's talk about his stats a little bit. Joe Pace. 1.84 ERA. He comes in with a 2-1 record. 10 different appearances in his pitch now in 14.2 innings. And I think we should toss it back a little bit to Isaiah Page. What a showing for Isaiah Page. That was a great job coming in and just doing exactly what Coach Eric Bakich and the Wolverines needed him to do. 2 straight innings of nothing for Rutgers, and I mean nothing. Of course, they had an error, which is out of the control of the pitcher, but he kept his composure really well after the error, got a fielder's choice, and that was the end of the inning. And now it's time for Joe Pace, who's really reinvented himself over the past year or so.
Page was really good, as you've said, very impressive. And now it's time for Pace. 1.84 ERA on the season, 20 strikeouts in 14 2/3 innings pitched. 8 walks is a little troublesome. Let's see if Pace is able to hone that in this afternoon. He'll get the top of the 8th in a 4-4 game. No margin for error, especially the later we get into this one. With both offenses struggling today to get men home. Michigan has left 6 on base now. Rutgers has left 4. And their offense has been pretty dormant since that 3-run opening frame.
And it'll be the power part of the lineup for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Brito, Lasco, and DeGiorgio. Pace out of the windup gets a big wave and a miss from Brito on an extremely slow breaking ball.
74.5 miles per hour thanks to our working radar gun.
And there's the same exact pitch from Joe Pace, and the breaking ball that he throws is a bit different from your average curveball. An average curveball has 2 fingers on the outside seam of the horseshoe, and you of course throw it the same way, but the way that he throws his is it's a knuckle curve. The knuckle curve hooks
I
a lot
love the
more.
knuckle curve. It's like I need to look at grip of a knuckle curve because it sounds like, like how do you throw that pitch like 81 miles per hour? That's insane.
Definitely leaves a bit of scratch marks on your
Right?
nail of
Doesn't
your
it
pointer
hurt?
finger.
Yeah.
Here's a line shot into right field, and Flores is right under it, and he makes up for the play earlier with a good catch heading to his left.
A lot of balls on both sides hit right on the nose that are sort of dying in right center field. It's been a theme for both Rutgers and Michigan.
With the sun kind of peeking its way back onto Ray Fisher Stadium, we thought maybe it still might be blinding the left fielder out there, but Flores is standing deep in right field right now. For the cleanup hitter Lasco, as he lines one down the left field line into the Michigan bullpen where someone over there is warming up. We don't have the angle to see who. However, 0-1 against probably the best hitter for the Scarlet Knights, the freshman.
He's been held at bay today, though.
0-for-2 on the game. There's a ball low and away.
He's also played a very nice center field, getting a good jump on a lot of balls, both back and to his left and then coming in on that last one in the last inning to take away a base hit from Elliott.
He does judge the ball really well. Here's a fastball, low, but it's called for a strike at 93 miles an hour from Joe Pace. Count is 1-2.
Rutgers dug out in a bit of disagreement with that one at the knees.
Probably hear that one.
But Pace gets the call.
The 1-2 from Joe Pace. Breaking ball. Heads towards Molfetta. Lasco down the first base line. Throws, and he's out.
How about the arm by Molfetta? I mean, he plays that behind the bag. That's the longest throw on the diamond. And just guns him down easily. Makes it look effortless. And 2 up, 2 down for Joe Pace, following in the footsteps of Isaiah Page.
I think Molfetta could step there on the mound and throw a clean 92, huh?
Probably. I mean, if Pace can hit, Molfetta can pitch maybe.
Apparently Pace can hit, right? Here's a line shot, or a bit of a blooper. It looked like a line shot from up here, but then it bounces through the shortstop second base gap anyway, and it's a base hit for DiGiorgio, and that's his second hit of the ball game. He had a home run earlier in the 4th inning, executing it perfectly over the left field wall, and the big brick monster, we'll call it.
Well, DiGiorgio couldn't have placed that one any better. Split. For a second, it looked like both middle infielders would have a play, and it just split both of them. Bertram coming in, moving to his right, and then Stems to his left. Each tried to flag it down. Neither could.
With 2 outs, brings up Slight, who has a double in the ball game. 2 ground outs otherwise. That's a ball low. 1-0. Pace takes his time, steps off the mound for a second. Now comes together. Left knee up in the air. Here's a pitch. Good fastball for a strike. 1-1.
See if Rutgers can do anything with the 2-out base runner. The offenses have really fallen silent on both sides. No runs have scored in the last 3 innings in a 4-4 ball game.
Pace really comes kind of into a fetal position from standing up, then comes together. Here's a ground ball to the second baseman, Bertram. Tosses over to the shortstop, Sems, and retires the inning. Good job by Joe Pace. Comes in after allowing, a bloop single right through the middle of the field. A good bounce for him. Almost hit the bag. Base hit for DiGiorgio, but Slight grounds out.
Well, Pace and Page now have combined for 3 scoreless innings of relief, following Hager, who lasted 5 innings. And can Michigan's offense get going here in the bottom of the 8th now? We shall see. The pitching has the bullpen, that is, has definitely held up its end of the bargain. But the Wolverines struggling with the bats just like Rutgers. They'll have Sem, Zimmerman, and Flores coming up, trying to scratch a run across in the last half of the 8th.
Well, Rutgers has now left 3 guys on base in the ball game, and on the defensive side for the Scarlet Knights, it'll bring out Muller again in his 3rd inning of work.
Well, see what Muller has left in the tank. He's looked very sharp. Entering the game at 12 1/3 innings on the season. If he gets through this, he'll have pitched a quarter of what he has all year.
Interesting enough in this ball game, Michigan has left a runner on base in every single inning. Every inning the Wolverines have left someone on base, and they have stranded, we count them up, 8 different runners on base. And now Benjamin Sems will lead off the inning, playing a bit of country music here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
The MC again, the DJ.
Shout out to the DJ.
Hopefully he's listening in, or will somehow know.
Strike one called on Ben Sems, a shortstop for the Wolverines, whereas number 2 stands in the left-handed batter's box on the season now. Adding into today, bats .337 with 2 home runs, 18 RBIs. The the right-hander Muller throws to the left-batted hitter, Sems, to a 1-1 count.
Sems entered the day batting .345. He's seen that dip to .337. See if he could ignite something here and give Michigan a leadoff base runner.
Here's a pitch to Sems. Down the left field line is going to be well foul. It'll be 1-2 against the leadoff hitter for the inning. The DJ playing the orchestra. I'm sure it's pre-recorded, but we'll give him the credit for playing the orchestra anyway. It's a 1-2 count for
Sems. Wearing multiple hats now.
Hopefully it's a Michigan one at least. There's a ball in the dirt from Muller. He'll even the count at 2 now. Sems, although having a quiet day, has done a pretty good job defensively. Only a couple times has he received a couple of balls there at short.
Made that nice play falling over himself.
Here's an odd swing from Sems, trying to get down the third base line, and he's going to reach first base. And that was kind of a weird play by the third baseman, Brito. He kind of charged up on it, but then just stopped once it hit his bare hands.
It's a high chopper, and I think Brito got caught in between. I feel like the only way to make a play like that is to barehand it wall in motion and sling it across your body. And so Brito stopped in his tracks and then seemed like he was going to go glove it and then stopped to barehand. You're not going to be able to make the play like that. And so Sems gives Michigan the leadoff base runner some speed. Stolen 2 bases on the year. And Zimmerman looking into the dugout here. Perhaps we'll get a sign to lay one down here at bunt. Brito playing way back at third. And then Sweeney at first is holding the runner on. And we're going to get a meeting at the mound here between catcher and pitcher.
And Muller, he looked a bit disappointed that Ceruto was coming out there to give him a chat. I think this is one of those times where the skipper, Steve Owens, is kind of just waiting for the pitchers down in the bullpen
to warm
get
up.
Ready.
Yep.
Give him a couple extra pitches, and now here comes the home plate umpire.
It's like, what's going on here?
And yeah, we can see a couple of the coaches down here trying to peer into the bullpen as it looks like he's about ready down there.
And here we go.
And that's exactly what it was for. So again, Jared and I can't necessarily see the bullpens down here, but we'll get you a name as soon as possible for the Scarlet Knight pitcher that will be...
I think it's a lefty. Which...
Yeah, right now it's just a matter of which one. They're kind of still going through this whole scenario with the meeting with Muller at the mound. Here comes the home plate umpire. They still haven't taken the ball from him. And now it looks like they're done with it. He shows the ball to coach. Will he take it?
Well, the bullpen door is ajar.
And now he'll take it.
So that drama closes.
That was a movie.
Hope you enjoyed.
Steve Owens, again in his second season at RU, has an 18-21 record. His 30th career season coaching, though. Has had multiple different stops along the way, finally finding his home in Piscataway, New Jersey, where, of course, our own Jared is from. Jared, were you a Rutgers fan growing up?
No. See, Rutgers, the issue with Rutgers was they were so bad. It was very hard to get into. But I have pulled for Rutgers basketball since they have been good. Crushing loss in the round of 32 this year to Houston. They should have won. It would have set up a Rutgers-Syracuse Sweet 16 matchup. A battle for Northeast supremacy, unfortunately, was not to be. But always good to have Rutgers relevant, and it looks like the baseball program is at least trending upwards, as we have mentioned.
They had a really good freshman class this year, and like you and I both said, they retained everybody. Everyone came back. 9 starters are back in the lineup for Rutgers.
And they should be back for years to come also.
Exactly, especially Lasko, who has done a really good job leading the outfield at center field. But let's talk about Dale Stanovich. He wears number 18 for Rutgers, has a 1-0 record, pitched 13 innings this season. He started 1 game.
So Stanovich enters in a bit of a sticky situation with the runner aboard at first and nobody out. You have to wonder if that was what the plan was with Muller. He had already pitched 2 scoreless innings, and if you're going to let him go the third, was the plan always to... I mean, it was not a particularly well-hit ball by Sems, a chopper that rolled 50 feet up the third base line, and Muller looked good. So you have to, I mean, again, we're second guessing, but I wonder about the decision. Would it have been better to just let Stanovich start off the inning, or did you not want Stanovich, the lefty, facing Sems, the righty? But at the same time, Michigan, the bottom of Michigan's lineup is right-handed.
Maybe you can take it back a second to that chopper that Sems hit. I believe that's going to be an out in a field almost any other than turf. In a grass field, that chopper goes straight to him. But with turf, it maybe came in a bit hotter on the ground for the chop, and there's a swing and a miss by Zimmerman.
Zimmerman wasting no time trying to go after Stanovich. He knows that he's going to get a first pitch strike, or that Stanovich is going to try to give him a first pitch strike, especially coming in with that runner on first in Sems, and nobody retired.
And that's the hello, nice to meet you pitch, right? Right by him with the fastball at 90, almost 92 miles an hour. He's a good pickoff move towards first base.
Ooh.
And Sems slides in there with that padded glove on his right hand.
I thought they might have had him for a second. Sems able to sneak back in.
0-1 count against number 6, Danny Zimmerman for the Wolverines. He's playing left field today. 0 for 2. However, he has plated a run due to a base on balls back in the 4th inning, which is the last time any scoring occurred. 2 runs for the Wolverines in that inning. Here's a swing and a miss by Zimmerman again.
Well, Stanovich has just come out of the bullpen throwing flames. That last one nearly 93 on the radar gun.
You know, not too often do you see a lot of relievers that are left-handed. There's a lot of right-handed relievers that we see, a lot of left-handed starters, but not a lot of left-handed relievers. At least in my day of watching baseball. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Hello, nice to meet you, and, well, goodbye.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. 91, 92, 94 and a half on the fastballs for Stanovich.
Brings up today's MVP, huh? Tito Flores back at the plate. 2 for 2. He could have the cycle plus. If we go into a couple extra innings, then he could put it away with the homer. Nonetheless, it's been a single, double, and a hit by pitch for Tito Flores in this ball game with 2 RBIs after he misjudged a ball in right field back in the 1st inning, getting us to a 4-4 stance and a knot between Michigan and Rutgers in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Someone's going to have to break through eventually. We've seen nothing but zeros since the bottom of the 4th. Someone's going to have to wake up here, provide a jolt, and someone is going to have to falter on the mound. Unless we are here for a few more days.
I wouldn't mind. Calling baseball is a lot of fun.
How about Stanovich gets another swing and a miss here.
4 pitches, 4 swings and misses. Maybe there's some kind of movement on that fastball because he's only thrown fastball so far. That one was at 93.5.
If it's not broke.
There's a swing and a foul off from Flores. It's 0-2. With one out in the bottom of the 8th inning, Michigan and Rutgers are tied at 4. Hits-wise, Michigan leads at 7-5, but errors-wise, Michigan also leads it 3-0 in a not-so-great category. Dale Stanovich, the current pitcher for Rutgers, already with 1 K, has thrown 6 pitches, all 6 of them strikes, 1 foul, 5 swings and misses as he tries a pickoff move.
Well, that's the third time. The third time we've gotten a look at that Stanovich pickoff move. It's obviously easier for a left-hander to keep runners at bay on first, but it's a nice little snap throw that is really
doesn't waste any time with the
right.
throw.
It really keeps them on their toes. There we go again.
There's another one. This time it was a step-off move, though, not the step over.
And a little low on the throw to first also, but easily handled by Sweeney.
Well, I believe if you were looking for consistency, Stanovich has come in and brought that for you. 6 pitches, 6 strikes, and I believe 4 different pickoff moves now that we've seen from Stanovich. There's a swing and a foul that hit the umpire.
And he's down.
Or was that a foul ball?
Yeah.
It was, as Flores did take quite a few steps back towards the Michigan dugout. Gotta hope he's alright. Nonetheless, it'll stay 0-2 for Tito Flores against the left-handed pitcher. This Michigan's athletic trainer will come out and check on home plate umpire. We weren't given umpire names today.
The mystery crew.
Looked like it got him in the right shoulder as he's trying to work it off.
Oh, I have found the umpires. That should be Michael Duffy working it off behind home plate. And we'll give the others credit. Brent Rice manning third, and Robert Lothian out at second base.
Well, Duffy's able to stay in the game. He'll certainly have a pretty good-sized circular bruise right on that right shoulder of his, and
a souvenir.
A souvenir that maybe he didn't want. Just like a baseball in your car.
Correct.
4-4 Michigan Rutgers. Beautiful Friday night game. The lights are on here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Here's another step-over pickoff move by Stanovich trying to keep Sems in check. Oh, 0-2 count against Flores, 1 out in the inning. He's 2 for 2 in the ballgame, 2 RBIs, 1 run, and was also hit by the pitch in a pretty awkward way, in which he tried to turn out of the way, and it hit the inside kneecap of his right knee for a right-handed hitter. Ouch.
Well, Stanovich is working at a snail's pace between the brief delay and holding the runners on at first.
He's going to get Flores looking here on strike 3, and that'll be the second strikeout.
So the other part, a little drawing between Flores and Duffy behind the plate. He's still talking to him, but the other part of Stanovich working at a snail's pace is he's mowing down hitters very quickly.
And he still hasn't thrown a ball.
And I believe he's only thrown fastballs. Unless I missed a breaking ball here or there, but, I mean, it's just been fastball, 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 strike, strike, strike. That one, knees and black.
First pitch is away, and hey, what do you know?
There we go.
He does. Sometimes
you
he hit the strike
him.
zone. Maybe we should do it again, huh?
Perhaps. Does the jinx work?
Pretty sure announcing jinxes are, I think they're real. I do think they're real sometimes, especially with free throws in basketball.
Yes.
The 1-0.
There's a low.
There's a ball. For Ted Burton, the first baseman for Michigan at the plate. He's got a triple today. 2 RBIs for Ted Burton. And a sacrifice fly to move a runner forward. There's a big swing and a miss from Burton. Count is 2-1. Burton versus Stefanovic. Or not Stefanovic, Stanovic. I'm thinking about Purdue basketball. I'm thinking about basketball too much.
It's baseball time.
Here's a swing and a chop foul. Almost a great play over there by Coach Bakich. He is doing third base.
Think so.
Michigan has 2 coaches that wear number 23.
Yes, Bakich and Nick Schnabel, both in their 9th season on staff.
And they're wearing masks, so it's a bit tough to tell who the base coaches are. Pitch from Stanovic is lined into center field. That'll be a base hit. And not deciding to round the bag. Well, he did round the bag as Sems, but he's safely at second. And Michigan is threatening now.
Well, that's
That'll
what
bring up the leadoff hitter, Rogers.
That's what you get.
Or excuse me, Bertram will take the play, the 9-hitter.
When you have a pitcher throwing heat, if you make contact, the ball's going to go 104 on the exit velocity there by Burton, his second hit of the afternoon. And here is Michigan, tied at 4 in the last half of the 8th. The go-ahead run at second in Sems. Bertram's had a rough go of it today, 0 of 3, but can erase all of those frustrations with one here.
Bertram, a right-handed hitter, 0 for 3 on the day. Here's a pitch from Stanovic. There's a strike 1.
That's just unfair. Bertram's definitely up there expecting blazing heat. Pours in the breaking ball at 82, about a 11-mile-per-hour difference between
I'm sure
pitches.
Tito Flores came into the dugout and said he's throwing heat. And there's the heater outside for a ball. But I'm sure Flores came in there and they asked him what he's throwing. A lot of times, guys on the bench will ask, hey, what's he tossing out there? What kind of pitches are we seeing? Sliders, fastballs, changeups. He said he's going to throw a fastball.
Mm-hmm.
And instead he gets a curveball. Twisted him up a bit. 1-1. And the 9-hitter come through for the Wolverines. 0 for 3 on the day. Here's a 1-1 count with 2 outs. Swing and a miss.
We're tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 8th. Michigan and Rutgers, 2 out, 2 on for the Wolverines.
Looming for the Scarlet Knights is 7-8-9. On deck for Michigan is 1-2-3. So Michigan's in the position in the bottom of the 9th. If Bertram can't come through here to have their leadoff hitters up. This ball's away.
Good job by Bertram laying off the high cheese.
He wanted it too.
Mm-hmm.
And at 93.5 miles an hour, blew it by him. High and away. 2-2 count from Michigan's second baseman Riley Bertram. The pitch from Stanovic. We're awaiting. Runner goes. Base hit up the middle. That's going to score the run. Bertram comes through, and the Wolverines lead it 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. How about that?
Great hitting by Bertram, and Sems was in motion, going on the pitch, scored easily. An emphatic stomp on home plate as he crossed. Michigan up 5-4. Bertram gets it done, and the Wolverines, for the first time today, are on top.
A great piece of hitting by Riley Bertram in the 9 spot. You don't think much about those guys down there at the bottom, but he comes through and the Wolverines lead it, looking to put Rutgers under 500.
Well, big-time base
season.
knock by Bertram. Stanovic just flaming with fastballs, struck out the first 2 he faced, and Burton lined it up the middle. Bertram sent it right back, and what do you know? It's 5-4.
Rogers takes one in the dirt.
So that run will go to Muller, the inherited run. It allows the inherited run to score.
One 0 count against Michigan's leadoff man, Jordan Rogers. The man in the middle of the outfield, the center fielder. Rogers wears number 18. The 1-0 is taken for a strike called. 281 on the season.
It's important for Stanovic and Rutgers here to limit the damage. Heading into the 9th down 1 versus heading into the 9th down 2 is far different. You can tie it on one swing versus you need a bloop and a blast. So Stanovich may have given up or allowed Michigan to take the lead, but he could still come out of this.
Rutgers fouls the 1-1 away, bringing up a 1-2 count against Stanovich, who came in and looked really potent, was doing a really good job, blazing fastballs by the Wolverine hitters, and then 2 base hits. Unfortunately for Muller, who only faced 1 batter in the inning, he would be at stake for the loss here if Rutgers can't put one across in the 9th. Here's a base hit by Rutgers. Coming around third is... Which one is that? I got my guys confused. It's Burton, and he's going to score. And Rutgers, count it. Michigan leads it 6-4. I got twisted up with my runners on the base paths, but hey, Michigan leads it 6-4.
And good hitting by Jordan Rutgers, just poking it to right field, hitting it where it's pitched. Got the barrel around on the Stanovich heat, and 3 straight base knocks for Michigan against the high velocity, undeterred. And the Wolverines now up 6-4, the much-needed insurance run for whoever takes the mound in the top half of the 9th. A 1-run lead versus a 2-run lead is a world of difference.
Christian Malfetta now at the plate for the Wolverines has 1 base hit in the ball game and has a walk as his other time on the base paths. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game. Good pickoff move here from Stanovich, not in time for Jordan Rutgers, who I think will probably be running here during this at-bat for Malfetta.
Definitely. Almost caught Rutgers leaning there. If you're Stanovich, at this point, just focus on getting the batter.
Nothing count against Malfetta. Goes back to first base again. Messing around there at third base is Bertram, who drove home the potential game-winning run for the Wolverines.
He got the big hit. Burton, though, was the first to crack Stanovich with a base hit up the middle.
Here's the pitch to Malfetta. Sky-high fly ball. First baseman is under it. That's Sweeney. He makes the catch, and let's head to the top of the 9th inning. This past inning, Michigan did a really good job of coming through and making a nice plate approaches. After a couple of the guys struggled, that was Zimmerman and Flores, both struck out against Stanovich, and then Ted Burton, a base hit.
Yeah,
Riley Bertram, a base hit. Rutgers, a base hit.
The Wolverines, for the first time today, will send a pitcher to the mound with the lead. 6-4, Michigan on top. And for the Wolverines, it'll be the closer, Willie Weiss, on the mound with the warm-up music pumping behind him. 6-4, Michigan on top. Weiss 3 outs away from closing out what would be a great comeback, come from behind victory for Michigan. It would push the winning streak from 5 to 6 and give the Wolverines the opener in the 3-game set with Rutgers.
Well, without looking too much forward ahead, Michigan again has games tomorrow and then Sunday, both against the Scarlet Knights tomorrow at 2 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m. Catch the action all on WCBN or BTN Plus, where you can watch the game. Whale Pond Complex here in Ann Arbor, Michigan at Ray Fisher Stadium. And then looking forward to next week as well, Michigan's at Evanston, Illinois, the campus of the Northwestern Wildcats, for a 2-game set with the Wildcats Friday and Saturday morning. And then Saturday night and Sunday, the Michigan Wolverines will take on the Illinois Fighting Illini, who... Does Michigan have a rivalry with Illinois now?
Definitely on the hardwood.
On the hardwood for sure.
So changes in the outfield for Michigan. Christian Bullock comes into play center field. Jordan Rutgers goes from center to right. And Tito Flores shifts from right to left, taking Danny Zimmerman out of the game. So that is, again, Flores, Bullock, Rutgers, left to right in the outfield behind Willie Weiss. 1.32 earned run average on the season through 13 2/3 innings pitched. He has struck out 22 batters. Has 2 saves on the year, looking for number 3 today. And he'll have 7, 8, 9 in the Rutgers order.
Well, if there was a part of the lineup that Weiss wanted to face, it's probably this one. 7, 8, 9. Sweeney will lead it off for the Scarlet Knights, and Michigan's 3 outs away from taking the opener and winning their 6th straight game, and Michigan on their way to trying to win a lot of series in a row. It's really good for the Wolverines heading forward because, especially in the Big Ten tournament, or if there is a Big Ten tournament, or the NCAA tournament pending any COVID issues, the Wolverines have got it going.
Sweeney 0-3 on the day. First pitch from Weiss, a blazing fastball in for a strike. 95 miles per hour, I believe that's the fastest pitch we've seen on either side today. 0-1, the count to Sweeney. Here comes the 0-1. Breaker chopped foul wide at third, and it's quickly 0-2. Willie Weiss on the mound. 3 outs away from securing a 6-4 come-from-behind victory for Michigan. The Wolverines plating 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. Here comes the 0-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Waved at the breaking ball in the dirt. 3 pitches. Sit him down for Willie Weiss. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. 1 out here in the top of the 9th.
Bit of a power strut, too, from Weiss after that strike 3.
Yes, a power strut indeed. Weiss is in his element. I think the power strut is the perfect way to describe it. Max Scherzer-esque a little bit, just kind of like hulking around the mound after the strikeout. He's not quite sure what to do with himself as he waits for them to throw the ball around the horn. He wants the ball back and he wants to fire it in. So here's Shulman batting in the 8-hole. First pitch fouled back to the screen.
That was a beautiful curveball by Weiss.
0-1. Good swing by Shulman. Just fouled it straight back. Or not Shulman, rather. We got a pinch hitter for Rutgers. It's Rodriguez. 203 hitter on the year. So Shulman, who was 0 for 3 on the day, gets pulled in favor of Rodriguez. 0-1, groove down the middle, a fastball at 95, a strike, 0-2. And Willie Weiss again ahead in the count. And Rodriguez, how about this task? You've been on the bench all day, now come face Willie Weiss. Here comes the 0-2. Fastball just rides high, 1-2.
Rodriguez is one of the Freshman of the Week award winners for Rutgers, one of 3 of them. He's won 1 out of their 5 Freshman of the Week honors.
Here comes the 1-2 from Weiss. Breaking ball sends Rodriguez bending backwards. That didn't quite break the way Weiss had envisioned. And Rodriguez is certainly making Weiss work for this one. It's now 2-2. He's climbed himself out of an 0-2 hole. The 2-2 skips in that breaker, and it's 3-2. Bounced well in front of the plate. So all of a sudden, Weiss in danger of losing Rodriguez. He struck out 27 times of the year, but also walked 14 times, so both sides of the coin are a factor here. Here comes the 3-2 from Weiss, fouled down the right field side, out of play. So Rodriguez working a good turn at bat here after Weiss struck out Sweeney. 1-2-3. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter. The 3-2 down the middle. In there! Strike 3 called. Got him with the fastball. And 2 up, 2 down to open the 9th for Willie Weiss. Michigan 1 out away. And we'll have another pinch hitter here for the Scarlet Knights. Sam Owens. Pinch hits for Ceruto, the catcher. Ceruto was 1 for 3. Owens, batting .200, is the son of the head coach. Lines it into right field. Easing in. Is this going to fall? It is. It's going to fall for a base hit. 3 Michigan players converging. Rogers was trotting in. Bertram and Burton both going out. And Owens could not have placed that one any better. And the Scarlet Knights have a 2-out base runner to stay alive.
He's only had 5 at-bats all season and has only had 1 hit. Batting .200, obviously. Last series against Iowa, he was 0 for 2 with a K, and he got hurt while running down the first base. Oh, no, I think he was just waiting.
We'll have a pinch runner here.
It looked like he was holding his knee, but he was just waiting to get off the field for the pinch runner, who is Kevin Welsh.
So Welsh will pinch run for Owens. Welsh on at first represents not the tying run because Michigan got 2, but The tying run is Neister at the plate. Not a power threat, no home runs on the year. Weiss's first pitch sits low on off-speed pitch, 1-0. Willie Weiss struck out the first two men to face him in the ninth. Owens reached on a first pitch base knock. Welch, the runner at first, on the pinch run. Here comes the 1-0, skips in, it's 2-0. So Weiss has fallen behind Neister. Schiekofer is on deck. Should Neister keep this inning alive?
Certainly the last thing that Weiss wants to do right now is lose Neister, who definitely has speed on the base paths, bringing up Richie Schiekofer, who does not have a homer on the season, so maybe not a threat in that way, but also has speed.
2-0. Fastball on the outside corner, 2-1.
That was a shy swing there from Neister. It wasn't even necessarily a swing, it was more of a check at it, but definitely a bit shy.
Welch, a runner at first, 2 outs. The pitch from Weiss, swing and a miss. Went back to the off-speed, it's 2-2, and Michigan's 1 strike away from winning this one.
You gotta love how determined Weiss is on the mound. He throws a strike, he gets it back, and he's right on the rubber again. He wants to go right at these hitters, and he wants to sit down Neister to win this ball game.
2-2 the count. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Breaking ball in the dirt. Neister waves and misses, and Michigan takes the opener 6-4 in come-from-behind fashion. The Wolverines rally out of an early 3-0 hole to defeat the visiting Scarlet Knights. The bullpen, the story of the day today. 4 scoreless innings, 2 from Isaiah Page, 1 from Joe Pace, and Willie Weiss, in dominant fashion, gets it done in the ninth.
Well, there you go, Jared. That was quite the game from Ray Fisher Stadium, the 6-4 final. Michigan looked like they were going to get out hit this afternoon, and then they just woke up. Simply, they did. 10 hits for the Wolverines to Rutgers 6, but Michigan's got to clean up the errors if they want to move forward. And Michigan, of course, heading into the end of the year, they're ranked right now, have a really good chance to continue to be a great team. Joe Pace gets the win for the Wolverines. He's now 3-1, and Muller, who only faced 1 batter in the bottom of the 8th, picks up the loss at 1-2, and Weiss picks up his 3rd save of the season. We're almost here for 3 hours. 2 hours,
2 hours
59
59
minutes.
Big hits in the bottom of the 8th by Burton, Bertram, and Rogers. The offense and bullpen able to pick up Steve Hadger, who was decent today and did enough. Michigan, 6-4 victors here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Well, that'll do it for us. For Zach Linfield, I'm Jared Greenspan. Thanks for joining us. And if you're going to leave us, head over to our YouTube page and go listen to some Michigan softball. They're playing Northwestern in a big series. So
Catch us again tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll be back. I won't be back.
I won't be back.
But WCBN will be back. Michigan beats Rutgers 6-4 to improve to 19-7 on the year. Thanks for listening, and as always, go blue.